That's Daniel Farker, the Leeds United manager. You're listening to Leeds versus Millwall in the EFL Championship live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Enjoy a tasty night in, delivered to your door with McDelivery. And we heard that audio last night as well, Neil Redfern. And it's not like Daniel Farker to go passive-aggressive and go a bit spiky. Maybe that's just the nerves of knowing that there's certainly three teams battling for two automatic spots, and he doesn't want lightning to strike twice after what happened last season.
Well, look, you know, there's a lot of pressure on Daniel Farker to get Leeds promoted. Obviously just missed out last year. They've got to get into the Premier League this year, I would have thought. There's a lot of plans for the club, and he'll feel that weight of pressure if they go on any sort of a bad run.
Out come the players from the tunnel just down to our right-hand side, and the famous 1970s version of Marching On Together rings out around this stadium. Scarves aloft, particularly in the Revy end. It's one of the first songs you taught as a nip around these parts, I should imagine.
Yeah, brilliant history. The club, you know, under the Revy years. You know, I was brought up on football at this stadium with my dad. You know, and they've fallen from grace in recent times, but it's such a big club.
Well, Leeds United missed out in the playoff final last year. They're trying to march on back to the top flight. And some of the players that they brought in this past transfer window, to my mind, would look at home in the Premier League. Altanaka being chief amongst those in that Leeds engine room in midfield.
Yeah, that's a great shout, to be honest with you. You know, and I feel for Daniel Farker, you know, because all managers go through that where you have a little bit of an indifferent spell and you feel everything's against you. But he's got a good squad of players, make no bones about that. And, you know, they'll need to start performing again because they're on a little bit of a blip. It's not like them, and they want to start winning again.
Certainly at the back, Joe Bryant's going to have his work cut out for Millwall against Dan James, but the centre-half pairing of the vastly experienced Jake Cooper and former Spurs man Japhet Tanganga, I like that as a partnership. They're tall, they're strong, they're obdurate, they're tough.
Yeah.
They'll repel a lot of things, but of course Leeds have a kind of a different way of going about the way they attack to a lot of teams, don't they?
Yeah, a lot of building around the box. I mean, Pirro plays as a 10, but we're playing down the middle because they haven't really got a fit striker that's in form. Bamford's out injured, Joseph's lacking form, so it's Pirro that plays that role, and he's done well with it, to be fair. He's in double figures goals wise, but this will be a difficult centre half pairing to come up against.
4 changes made by Alex Neil tonight. They're not completely out of it in terms of the playoff picture, but they effectively do need to certainly. A win tonight would be ideal because they're 10 points off a playoff place, and they've got a game in hand on most of the teams above them with 10 to play. 13th place in the table at the moment. It's their 8th consecutive season in the Championship after they won promotion, and they've never featured in the Championship playoffs. 3 8th place finishes. They've come so close, and they've clearly won the coin toss here, Neil Redfern, because they're making Leeds attack the Revy end in this first half.
Yeah, they don't usually either, so, you know, maybe one up for them, but you just know this Millwall side will play with aggression. You know, they'll play with organisation. You know, they'll try and get on the front foot. They won't be worried about Leeds because they've beaten them twice already.
They have. Japhet Tanganga scored the winning goal at the Den in November in the league fixture, and then with 2 vastly changed lineups, it was a brace from Femi Aziz, who's playing tonight for Millwall, that got them the 2-0 win in the FA Cup that led to the all-London tie against Crystal Palace and everything that went with that. Leeds in all white get us underway, then kicking from right to left as we look, defending the Norman Hunter stand to our right. They'll be attacking the Revy end. Millwall in all green tonight, like a forest green, British racing green almost, to their strip. Straight away they're looking for Dan James leads down the right hand side, but Joe Bryan deals with that well. Lucas Jensen, the Millwall goalkeeper, clears right-footed, won't reach the halfway line. Firpo heads it back into midfield, but George Saville volleys it downfield. Wes Harding steps onto the ball and careers forward from right back down the Millwall right-hand side, clips it in field. Now George Honeyman takes over, flicks it back out to Harding. Casper Denora in support. Harding swings across in near post, and it's cleared away somewhat awkwardly by Strout to Honeyman, who's inside the area down by the dead ball line. Gives it back to Harding, another cross, and it comes off Junior Firpo and goes behind for an early Millwall corner.
Yeah,
0-0.
Brilliant play by Wes Harding. He travelled, a full 60 yards up the pitch. Connected passes with his teammates and let the cavalry get into the box before putting a decent ball in. It's the first corner of the game for Millwall.
Came from Rotherham a couple of years ago, Wes Harding. I remember him coming in through the Birmingham City Youth Academy, playing at right back tonight. One of 4 changes made by the visitors, but they've got a corner. George Honeyman to take it, where the Norman Hunter stand meets the John Charles main stand that we're sat in. Right-footed outswinger deep to the far post, and it came off the top of the head of Wes Harding, who was inside the box, just couldn't get on top of the cross. Fired back by Joe Bryan out to the right-hand side, and it will reach Honeyman. It's a poor header clear. Ball sent into the box. Roden heads it up in the air awkwardly. Tanaka tries to help it towards halfway, but Saville is onto the second ball, and out it goes to the left-hand side, and Femi Aziz. Right-footed ball into the area. Cooper's still up there with a header, but it drifts over the crossbar, and Leeds will have a goal kick. And much as you saw last night with Bristol City at Sheffield United, good start from the visitors, Neil Redfern. 2 gone, 0-0.
Yeah, absolutely no fear whatsoever. I mean, he did brilliant to regain it when Leeds cleared the initial corner. Put some good balls in the box. It's a bit of an Achilles heel for Leeds. Set plays against Millwall, will be really aware of that.
Given away this time by Roden, trying to get Leeds away down the right-hand side, and Millwall have got it back, and Tanganga. Really neat finish from Japhet Tanganga when he won the game for Millwall at the Den in November. Really lovely cushion finish just inside the box that got Neil Harris's Millwall all 3 points on the night. Now Rothwell steals the ball on halfway and sets Peru away. Lovely ball back in field for Rothwell. Denori gets a foot in, breaks on the dead ball line. Oh, it's got in! Manor Solomon wrong foots the keeper, got to the dead ball line. He was trying to pull that back, but it ended up being a shot. And with Lucas Jensen off his line, the ball drifted past him, dribbled over the line, and after Millwall made a great start, Leeds go down the other end and score to dispel any nerves around Ellen Road. 3 minutes gone, Leeds 1, Millwall 0.
Well, the initial good plays from Joe Rothwell, intercepts a pass on the halfway line and drives with it and just lends it down the side for Solomon. This touch is really good. The ball's intended for a strike partner, Pirro, in the middle, but it deflects off the defender and just ends up in the back of the net. It's the last thing that Millwall wanted, really, because it will settle Leeds' nerves.
And it was Casper Denori's interception that actually played the ball into the path of Solomon down the left-hand side of the area, and he was right on the dead ball line. And Neil Redfern's absolutely right, just a slight touch off the leg of a Millwall defender in front of the near post. Wrong-footed Lucas Jensen. He got a hand to it, but he was moving one way, the ball went the other, and it's Leeds 1, Millwall 0. Hooked back in field by Wes Harding. Aziz helps it on for Millwall, but Strike calmly heads it back to Meslier. That's her first goal of the night in the Championship. There's games already underway at Hull, at Portsmouth and at Watford. Stoke Blackburn gets underway at 8. Dortmund have already gone through in the Champions League, beating Lille 2-1 on the night in France and 3-2 on aggregate. Arsenal, PSV, Villa against Club Brugge, and Atletico Madrid against Real Madrid will get underway in the next 10 minutes. Villa against Brugge is live on Talksport tonight with Joe Shannon and Andy Townsend, your commentary team at Villa Park.
Just looking at how the goal came about, it's ironic that it came from a wide area as well. Solomon involved in it. We talked before the game, Dance, about how good Leeds are in wide areas. James, Solomon, they've got the best wide players, I feel, in the Championship at the moment in time. You can add Nonto into that, and Rarazani. They've got good players.
1-0 to Leeds. If you're just tuning into Talksport 2, we played 5 minutes at Ellen Road. Only took Leeds 3 minutes to get on the board after the frustration of not scoring on Sunday at Fratton Park. Solomon on the score sheet, aided and abetted by a slight defection. That's his 8th goal of the season, to go with 8 assists as well, so he was trying to provide, just ended up scoring. Goal kick to Leeds away to our right, 1-0.
Yeah, I think the weight of pass as well, and just the delay in the pass from Rothwell, superb. You know, he got left out of the game against Portsmouth. Gruev played in that central midfield area, but I think he's a welcome addition to come back in. It just gives Leeds a little bit more going forward.
It's fair to say that Leeds were off it a little bit on Sunday and paid the price. Portsmouth pressurised and got the win. But this is more like it already from Leeds United. Peru loses out with an aerial ball hit into the Millwall half. Jensen clears right-footed up to Honeyman on halfway, gets barged into by Strike. No foul, says the referee, who tonight is Dean Whitestone. Kasper Denori works it down the right-hand side for Ivanovic, the striker. Honeyman with a cross, can't wrap his foot round it enough from the right-hand side. It goes over the crossbar for a Leeds goal kick, and Daniel Farker is now asking the question of the 4th official why a foul wasn't given on this near touchline as Millwall started that counter-attack. 1-0 to Leeds. Yeah, just looking at, he just had a bit more time than what he thought there, Honeyman. Great build down this right-hand side. Again, they've looked really menacing down this right-hand side, Millwall, in his opening exchanges. As I say, Millwall with 5 wins and 8 draws. They've won 4 of those games this year at Luton, Portsmouth, Derby and Watford on Saturday. So their away form under Alex Neil is vastly improved to the away form that they had under Neil Harris. The only away win they got with Neil was a win at Swansea back in October. Leeds' only league defeat here was back in September. Burnley winning by a goal to 0. They've scored 45 and only conceded 9 here at Ellen Road all season. Yeah, it's definitely a fortress, Ellen Road, at the moment. And they lead by a goal to 0 as Roden sends it out to Bogle on the right-hand side, just inside the Millwall half of the field. Given back to Roden. Bogle's cut in field now, has to roll it back to Tanaka, who's in between the 2 centre-halves in the centre circle. Passes to his right for Joe Roden. 8 minutes gone, 1-0 Leeds. Tanaka being closed down by the striker Ivanovic. And a foul on halfway as Aziz tried to get forward and he was caught by Brendan Aronson, who's wearing gloves tonight. There's 1 or 2 Leeds players in gloves. Neil Redfern's not got the gloves on yet, but he's got the heated gilet on. Yeah, and it's lovely, mate. All right. Aziz, few step-overs from him down the left-hand side for Millwall. Tries to get it back from Joe Bryan, and that was a foul on Jayden Bogle by Aziz as he tried to get a clear Jayden Bogle, still inside his own half, but a foul it was. Leeds get a free kick. 1-0 they lead. Yeah, I tell you, just an observation with Leeds in this particular game. I mean, I've seen Leeds quite a bit this season, and usually what happens, ball side, the wide player gives the width and the opposite wide player comes in as a false 10, so they play with 2 10s, but they're given out and out width today, which is interesting. They want to try and make this pitch as big as they can, I would have thought. That goal has been officially given. It's a Jake Cooper own goal. Daniel James is cleaned out by Joe Bryan as he gets down the right-hand side. Fans want a yellow card against Joe Bryan, but instead the referee just produces the vanishing spray from his back pocket rather than the yellow card that the fans want. What did you make of that challenge, Neil Redfern? Yeah, it's a yellow card, to be honest with you. I think he's been a little bit lenient there, the referee. It's fair enough. You know, it's not every challenge is a yellow card, I would have thought, but you know, he was away there, James. Saw the grass in front of him. He's got the pace to go after teams. And Daniel Farker and Alex Neil both in heated conversation with James Bell, the 4th official, with their own opinions on that free kick and the lack of yellow card. Yeah, I think Farker's gripe before the game and in the commentary as well was just like the consistency that he was after from the officials. Well, this just adds fuel to his particular fire on that, I suppose. But Joe Rothwell is standing over the free kick. He's down the right-hand side of the penalty area, about 10 yards from the dead ball line, raises both arms. Millwall defending on their 6-yard line. In it comes from Rothwell into the near post, looking for Firpo, headed out by Denora, but it'll come out to the edge of the area where Aronson tidies things up, and it's worked back to halfway for Jayden Bogle, the last man. Now Rothwell scheming his way through midfield, plays a neat 1-2 with Firpo, tries to send it into the area for Solomon, but Harding is watching it well and will let it trickle behind for a goal kick to Millwall. 10 minutes gone on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. This is the only goal we've had so far in the 5 games in the Championship tonight. Stoke Blackburn just getting underway, or just about to, and it's Leeds 1, Millwall 0. An own goal from Jake Cooper on 3 minutes separating the sides.
Yeah, just going back to that little bit of action there, really well played there from Joe Rothwell. Picked it up in a dangerous area really, because he's under pressure from Millwall players, but dropped his shoulder, got out of it and played a really good pass in towards Solomon, who just didn't read it.
And he's on loan from Bournemouth. Whether a permanent deal might be in the offing were promotion to be achieved by Leeds United. Ball's in the hands of Ilan Millier, just bowls it out to Tanaka, just outside the penalty area. He can pass it out left to Firpo. Back it goes to Strike. Now he's closed down by Ivanovic. Tanaka has it once again at the edge of the area. Luke Cundle thought about closing down, but instead just backpedals a little bit, and that allows Leeds to bring it forward. Roden slides it down the right-hand side for Dan James. Holds it up. Bogle's gone ahead of him, midway point of the half. Tries to clip it in field, but there's enough green shirts there to win it back for Millwall. Aziz, tight to that far touchline on the east-hand side, wins a throw for Millwall, and they can get it out of harm's way. 1-0 to Leeds, and we've played 12 minutes on Talksport 2 at Ellen Road.
Yeah, it's been a cracking start to the game. Leeds have settled the nerves with a goal.
Jensen clears just in the nick of time away from Dan James, and then Solomon closed down Tanganga, so the ball merely went out for a throw to Millwall in the right back position, rather than Tanganga getting the ball deep downfield, which was his intention. Harding looking for an option. Denora comes short, gives it back to the right back. He plays it up along the deck towards halfway. Ivanovic and Cundle held it up well. Jake Cooper manages to strike the ball out to the left-hand side. Aziz is beaten to it by Jayden Bogle, who toe-ends it out for a throw on the far left-hand side of the field for Millwall. 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, good press by Leeds. Just made them hurry the play a little bit, Millwall. In the end, they give the ball away, but they get the throwing from it, Millwall. But really lifted the confidence, the goal for Leeds.
Throw in from Millwall comes to nothing, and Roden and Strike between them can guide the ball back to Ilan Millier, wearing a sky blue goalkeeping get-up tonight.
I like the way Tanaka drops in between the two centre-backs and just overloads there, even though they've got two up top in the press, Millwall.
And he's always happy to receive it as well, isn't he? But he's been closed down by Denora, but quite calmly works it out right to Roden. Aronson gives it back to the Japanese, who puts his foot on the ball and plays a short 1-2 with his midfield partner Joe Rothwell. Now it's picked up by Aronson, just shy of the halfway line. Roden looks to release Bogle, who's running forward down the right-hand side, but good challenge in the area from Jake Cooper. Bogle was very nearly in. He was running in between two Millwall defenders, and he didn't quite win the race. Cooper got there in the nick of time. Bogle stayed down inside the Millwall penalty area. Meantime, Millwall are trying to counter with Aziz getting up to halfway and finds Cundle. Cundle rolls it back in field to Aziz, bringing it further forward. Strike comes across and puts it up to halfway. Bogle's back on his feet and limping back towards the halfway line, and play won't stop. Leeds have got it again with Manor Solomon, whose cross led to the first goal of the game on 3 minutes. 1-0 Leeds are in front. Tanaka in the centre circle, plays the ball out wide looking for James, but Bryan gets his foot in ahead of Dan James, and then Aziz shows good upper body strength there to hold off Dan James, tries to keep it in play. He was caught by Dan James, and that'll be a free kick to Millwall down the left hand side. Neil Redfern.
Yeah, he might just get a talking to here, Dan James, because it's late and it's from behind. The referees let him get away with it. Just going back to that,
that's one each then, isn't it? You've had Bryan clearing out James, and now James cleaning out Aziz.
Yeah, and there's no fisticuffs about it. Everything's taken in good spirit. Just going back to that last play, it's a great straight line run and a straight line pass that goes straight through the Millwall line. He was unlucky there, Bogle.
And he'd stayed forward, but Jake Cooper in the nick of time got a foot in, and the move came to nothing. It's back with Jensen, the Millwall goalkeeper. started his career at Burnley. I'm not sure whether he's any relation to Brian Jensen, the beast who was at Burnley for many years.
That'd be interesting.
Answers on an email.
Yeah.
Jensen will clear right-footed, fires it out to Aziz on the left-hand side, and Brian did really well to keep it in play because it wasn't half fizzed at him by his goalkeeper. Leeds end up winning a throw in front of that Jack Charlton stand on the far side.
I tell you what, they've done quite well, Millwall here, just to steady themselves a little bit since the goal. It hasn't affected the confidence. They're still looking to press, they're still getting on the ball, they're still passing it.
Ball's back with Meslier, who rolls his foot on the ball to deceive Ivanovic for a minute. Thought it was going out to strike. Instead it's Joe Roden who has it just ahead of his own penalty area. Given back to him by Tanaka. Meslier again. Now he's being closed down by the keeper. Strike. Brings the ball forward down the inside left channel, midway point of his own half. Firpo on his outside. Plays it backwards to square to Rothwell. Always a willing recipient of the ball. Directing operations as he trots forward with the ball at his feet, Joe Rothwell, to the edge of the centre circle. Wants an option. Firpo's offering him one on this near side, the left. But he's played a square ball to Roden, who gets up to halfway. Just goes through the gears a little bit. Tries to release Dan James down the right-hand side. Joe Bryan protecting the ball. And it actually went out of play for a throw to Millwall in their left-back position. So Arsenal underway against PSV. Villa underway against Club Brugge. And the Madrid derby also underway in the Champions League. Dortmund are already through. They beat Lille 2-1 on the night earlier, 3-2 on aggregate to the German side. Keep you in touch with goals going in anywhere tonight. There's no goals anywhere in the Championship. But here, at the home of Leeds United, who were in front by 1-0 against Millwall, we played 17 minutes on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2, and I've got Neil Redfern along for the ride tonight.
Yeah, it's been a great start to the game from both sides, to be fair. They started well, Millwall, until the goal. Leeds have had most of the possession since, but really moving this ball about the pitch really well, overloading where they can, dropping in between the lines, Tanaka and Rothwell in particular. And they're making it difficult for Millwall to get on the ball, but they've had the moments, Millwall.
Leeds in possession with Roden once again being pressurised by Kundal. Goes out to the right-hand side, and Bogle, who rides a challenge from Aziz and brings the ball into the Millwall half, tight to that far touchline, manages to work a ball in field to Dan James, who went down saying he was caught from behind by Joe Bryan, but the referee wagged his finger at that and said play on. Kundal out to Aziz on the halfway line, and Millwall will work it back to their centre half, or at least to Jake Cooper. Plays the ball into the feet of George Saville, neatly turns away from James and clips it down the left-hand side looking for Aziz, but the aerial ball was cut out by a cushioned header from Jayden Bogle. He sends it up to halfway. Dan James can't win the flick-on header, and Millwall have it back with Bryan looking for George Saville, who picks it up on halfway, tight to that far touchline, works it infield to Ivanovic, and he'll play it out to the right-hand side where Harding's come forward again, but the ball from Ivanovic is overhit and just collected by Ilan Meslier. Right idea, yeah, from Mihailo Ivanovic, but got the execution wrong. 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, I just can't help but thinking, I mean, something we talked about yesterday with Sheffield United on a different perspective, where two different shapes. You've got two shapes at the same tonight, and they both seem to be cancelling one another out in wide areas at times. It's been very difficult for James to get in behind Bryan, but Leeds still have got the lead.
1-0 the score. Here's George Honeyman, who hits the ball against Firpo, wins a throw right in front of Daniel Farke's technical area. Leeds are the highest scorers in the top four divisions, 72 goals before tonight. All four defeats have been by a 1-0 scoreline, such as Sunday lunchtime against Portsmouth, another game you heard on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Jake Cooper fires a ball out to the left-hand side looking for Aziz, but it was well intercepted by Bogle. Couldn't keep it in play though on that far side, but he did well to intercept it in the first place. 1-0 Leeds. Yeah,
did brilliant there, Bogle, because he just got his distances right, trying to go in behind him with a longer ball for Aziz, but just dropped off and pinched it. Just couldn't pick it up as it ran out of play. Good cushion header from Harding down for George Honeyman down the Millwall right, but good challenge from Pascal Strike. Stepped in, no nonsense, won the ball back, and here's Manor Solomon running through the centre circle.
Plenty of green shirts around him, and he was clipped by Kundal. Free kick to Leeds United. Taken quickly, Tanaka in the centre circle. Leaves it for Rothwell. He turns away from a couple of challenges, and now it's sent forward by Strike. Little flick on from Solomon, trying to get Peru in behind. He very nearly was, but Millwall had enough bodies back to get the ricochet to go back to goalkeeper Jensen. But Leeds have it again. Brendan Aronson running at the back line, goes beyond Tanganga, angles tight, and the shot is spilled behind for a corner kick by Jensen as Brendan Aronson darted into the penalty area. Corner to Leeds at the Revienne, 1-0.
Yeah, brilliant little give and go with Pirro from Aronson. And as he breaks three on his left foot, he goes for goal at the near post, but I just can't help feeling if he goes for the far corner, Dan James is coming in at the back stick. He puts his arms in the air with despair. Brilliant bit of play though.
So Rothwell's going to take the corner down to our left-hand side where the main stand meets the Revienne. Be a right-footed in-swing, although there's a short corner option if he wants to use it in Manor Solomon. But Rothwell's now raising both arms, indicating what he's going to do to his teammates. In it comes to the far post, headed out by Ivanovic, back defending. And Aziz will get after the loose ball and just beats Tanaka to it. Fires it in field to Ivanovic, who's moved up towards the halfway line. Good skill from the Serb. Can toe poke it through to Aziz, who collides with Bogle just inside the Leeds half, but Bogle came out on top in that exchange. Aronson rolls it in field to Firpo, who's popped up on the right-hand side for a moment for Leeds United. And now Manor Solomon into the feet of Peru, gives it back to Solomon, left-hand side, midway point of the Millwall half of the field. Leeds 1, Millwall 0 if you're just tuning in as we approach the midway point of the first half on Talksport 2. Solomon trying to get in behind Harding down the left-hand side to the byline. Hooks it across the face of goal, comfortably headed away by Cooper and picked up by Honeyman. What a start for Atletico Madrid. 1-0 up and level on aggregate with Real Madrid. Conor Gallagher in the first minute.
Brilliant.
I think Simeone likes him. Junior Firpo for Leeds United.
I tell you what, they've done brilliant. They're aware of the space in behind both fullbacks.
Well, here's Joel Peru, 30 yards out, wants to have a crack at goal. Certainly hit it firmly, but it was well wide. Good 5 or 6 yard wide of Lucas Jensen's left-hand post. Not the shy goal that Joel Peru would have wanted. Goal kick Millwall. Yeah. 22 minutes gone, 1-0 to the side who we're going to go back top with this, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just going back to that shot of Pirro, you don't mind that. You know, he's just getting a sighter. You know, he's having a good season goal-wise. You know, he's playing out of position, really. He's normally a 10 as a rule, but he's playing down the middle as a 9. He's not letting his teammates down.
Honeyman takes the ball on his chest, cleared away by Firpo. You're listening to Leeds 1, Millwall 0 in the EFL Championship, live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Enjoy a tasty night in, delivered to your door with McDelivery. Arsenal are already a goal to the good and therefore 8-1 up on aggregate against PSV. Zinchenko with a rare goal up from the back. Now George Honeyman's got a problem here, the Millwall midfielder, sat on his backside at the edge of the centre circle, and this certainly happened off the ball. I'm not sure whether there was a challenge, but he's shaking his head as his teammates come across to check on him, and this may mean that Alex Neil has to shuffle his pack before we get to the half-hour mark. 1-0 Leeds are in front. Yeah,
to be fair, George Honeyman is a good servant for Millwall. You know, he's an experienced player, and he gives Millwall good width on this right-hand side. He's been involved in a lot of things so far.
Well, the physios have gone out to treat him. Gives me a chance to remind you that tomorrow night, got a choice of listing in the Europa League. Manchester United against Real Sociedad on Talksport at 8 p.m. Spurs against RZ here on Talksport 2 at 8. Plus, on the Talksport Darts YouTube channel, night 6 of the Premier League in the Nottingham Arena this week. That'll be on the Talksport Darts YouTube channel. All 7 matches from around 7:10. And then Friday night, our championship offering for you is Bristol City against Norwich here on Talksport 2 at 8 p.m. Busy old game day as well. Got the Women's League Cup final here on Talksport 2 at 12:15. Chelsea against Manchester City. QPR against Leeds in the Championship live on Talksport at 12:30. And then Manchester City against Brighton is our Premier League exclusive game for you here on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock before the Sheffield Derby. Sunday lunchtime at Hillsborough. George Honeyman still sat at the edge of the centre circle getting treatment.
Yeah, I think it's his groin, Dance. They've been stretching out his groin a little bit, and I don't think he's happy at all, Honeyman.
No, it may well be that Alex Neil's going to be forced into a change, but nobody's stripped and ready just yet for Millwall. Honeyman's back on his feet now, and just coming across to this near touchline. Whether he's going to try and come back on again, it's hard to say at this point.
Yeah,
but it's coming off. There's the substitutes board is being readied, and is it Josh Coburn that's going to come on? Just trying to see who it is. It's supposed to be see-through, that that dugout perspex, but it's practically opaque, so Honeyman's going to have to come off, and he's trudging disconsolately towards us on this near touchline, not being helped off, but he's taken his time in coming off, and that's winding up the Leeds fans. They are in front, let's not forget, so it's not like Millwall are protecting a 0-0 scoreline and getting involved in a bit of housery.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because he's walking off unattended, but he's taking his time coming off. It's almost like Millwall weren't ready for this.
And now he's stopped 4 paces from the touchline, and the referee, Dean Whitestone, saying, hurry up, get off. And there's still activity down beneath us. Yeah, it's Billy Mitchell that's going to come on to replace him.
He's not ready, is he?
And that's why. And now he's finally got his number 8 shirt on. And so Mitchell will come on for Honeyman. May well go into that similar position, right-hand side. We'll soon see whether anything switches around. In fact, he's gone central. Looks like Kundal's come out to the position that Honeyman had. So finally back underway on Talksport 2. And Strike just gives the ball back to the Millwall keeper, Jensen. 1-0 Leeds. So Mitchell's gone alongside Saville, and Donora has pushed a little bit further forward. Looks like he's gone into the 10. Kundal to the right, and Aziz staying on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice 4 to 5 minutes distraction there for Leeds United. Whether it was planned or not, it's helped Millwall just to gather themselves a little bit.
Watford lead Swansea by 1-0 in the Championship. Moussa Sissoko has just given Watford the lead against the Swans. Watford 7 points off a playoff spot going into tonight's game. And that's the first goal that Swansea have conceded in 4 games. Leeds 1, Millwall 0 here at Ellen Road. We've played 28 minutes, but there's going to be a good 2 or 3 minutes to add on as Leeds come piling forward with Firpo. Out to the left-hand side, level with the area is Manor Solomon. Tucks it back in field to Joe Rothwell. Comes in field, rolls it across to Tanaka. Urged to shoot, 25 yards out, and it's only just wide of the left-hand post, with Jensen flying across to his left-hand side. Don't know how close that was from this angle, but the fans in the Revienne certainly thought it wasn't far off. Goal kick, 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, it's a great effort. It's good play by Rothwell again. Supports brilliantly from behind, just rolls it square to Tanaka. And it's just fading away at the far post, but it struck beautifully, to be fair. Could have gone in easily, to be honest with you. Not that far off.
Yeah, it did slip away. Ended up being 2 or 3 yards wide of the angle of post and bar. Jensen's goal kick downfield. Hooked over his head by Saville for Aziz, who's turned away from Bogle down the Millwall left. Holding on to the ball now, tries to flick it in field. Donora gets an important foot in. It's worked back by Millwall inside their own half. It goes back to Jensen, the goalkeeper. Tanganga finds Billy Mitchell just on the field then for the injured Honeyman. Works it up to Wes Harding. Harding trying to work hard, but he's conceded a throw. 2 Leeds right underneath our commentary position as we sit halfway up in the John Charles main stand, slightly closer to the Revienne than to the Norman Hunter end to our right. Firpo with the throw. Few Leeds substitutes go out to warm up. Firpo is caught by Tanganga. Free kick to the hosts. Again, right next to where we're sat in the main stand. 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, it was a little bit naughty, that challenge. Just left a bit on Firpo, Tanganga. But just watching how Leeds worked as a side there, you could see the 11 or 10 white shirts shuffling across the pitch to block that ball in wide areas.
Now Peru finds Aronson, who's offside. Peru's trying to tuck the ball away. It's in, but the flag has long since gone up, and they haven't noticed. And now Peru has noticed the offside flag up against him. So it stays at 1-0. Peru holds his hands out to the side and say, what? No way. But the flag went up as the move built up.
Let's have a little look. Ooh, I'll tell you what, it's tight. Well, slightly off.
We are in a VAR free zone, let's not forget. And
yeah.
I have my own opinions on that. Peru tucked it away very nicely, but a lot of the Millwall players had stopped because they'd heard the whistle.
Yeah, the build-up was brilliant towards it. Little give and goes in and around the box to check him free.
1-0 it stays. Tanganga heads forward for Millwall. Just thumped back into the Millwall half by Firpo. Jensen had to come out to the edge of his own penalty area and clear it with feet. And it drops for Peru. Fired forward to the feet of Solomon by Firpo, but his first touch was heavy and it allowed Millwall to win it back. Kundal up to halfway looking for Ivanovic, but he was easily dealt with by Strike. Firpo loses out to Saville, who rides a couple of challenges, tries to get past Strike, and there's not the easiest job of getting past Pascal Strike in any situation. Slides in, puts it out for a throw, and now Alex Neil's having a heated conversation with the fourth official.
Yeah, just looking at George Saville as well, giving the fourth official an earful. But they're really competing, Millwall, to be fair. They're not giving it Leeds easily.
Well, they were behind at half-time against Watford at the weekend and not playing particularly well, according to the Millwall fans that I've been speaking to, but a great comeback in the second half from the Lions of London. And it is their away form that's been better than their home form.
Yeah, there's just little moments of happening in the game, and you can see why, to be honest with you. They get bodies forward really quickly. When you think there's an opportunity and an opening, they're not frightened of flooding green shirts forward.
In the Champions League, Arsenal 1-0 up on the night, 8-1 on aggregate. Villa still 0-0 with Club Brugge over on Talksport. That's live. It's still 3-1 on aggregate to Villa, and Atletico Madrid through that Conor Gallagher goal. And they're still 1-0 up on Real Madrid. That's 2-2 on aggregate. Brugge down to 10 men over on Talksport. Kylian Sabet has been red carded, so that makes the Belgians' task all the more difficult, trying to get 2 goals back with 1 man less. 1 man fewer, sorry. Got to use the grammar correctly. Back it goes to Lucas Jensen, clears right-footed, won't make halfway. Tanaka, well, Denora wasn't looking where the ball was going, he was just looking to try and collide with Al Tanaka. And then a free kick is eventually awarded Leeds' way, as Aronson was clipped from behind by George Saville. And Leeds will have a free kick just to the right of the centre circle. We played 33 minutes of the first half on Talksport 2. Leeds 1, Millwall 0. Neil Redfern.
Yeah, I think Leeds are value at this moment in time. You know, I mean, I've been impressed with Millwall's resilience. You know, they've definitely come here thinking they can get something. There's no two ways about it. But at the moment, Leeds are dominating the play.
Aronson drifts infield to the centre of the half. Firpo in space on this left-hand side. Drills the ball into the area. Cooper with a strong header clear for Millwall. Might reach Ivanovic in the middle of the half. And he sets up Kundal. Chance for a counter-attack, but across came the challenge from Tanaka. And he was caught in the centre circle by Kundal. And the Millwall counter-attack is swiftly stopped.
I tell you what, he read that brilliantly, Tanaka. Just as he had his touch and he was opening his body up to play the ball through for his teammate, just whipped it off him.
He's not bad, is he?
Oh, he's been a great signing for Leeds, to be honest with you.
Learned everything off you, apparently. Here's Joe Rothwell, just over the halfway line for Leeds, floating it out to Junior Firpo on this near side, the left, almost level with the 18-yard line. Fires it back in field to Rothwell. Just goes through the gears, gets down the left-hand side of the box, being watched by Kundal. Solomon in support, level with the edge of the area. Thinks about a cross, but then works it back to Tanaka in the centre of the Millwall half. Little short pass to his right for Dan James to pick up. Bogle on the overlap, trying to get to the dead ball line, but the pass from James is slightly overhit and goes over the dead ball line for a Millwall goal kick. Stoke 1, Blackburn 0. Ali Al-Hamadi on loan from Ipswich puts Stoke in front. No winning 4 for Mark Robbins. Stoke just 1 point clear of the relegation zone. That's a big goal for them, and that of course will affect Blackburn's playoff prospects, who started the night 4 points off the top 6. So in the Championships, still no goes Hull, Oxford or Portsmouth, Plymouth, but Watford leads Swansea by a goal to 0. Stoke 1 up on Blackburn, and here at Ellen Road with 10 minutes to half time plus a fair bit of stoppage because of that injury to George Honeyman. It's Leeds 1, Millwall 0. The early Jake Cooper own goal from Solomon's cross from the dead ball line, separating the sides.
Yeah, just looking at the two centre midfield players for Leeds, Tanaka and Rothwell, you know, as an ex-midfield player myself, and knowing the importance of distances when you're supporting in possession, they've been absolutely super, immaculate at times, you know, the way they've supported play, the way they balance off one another. It's given Leeds a real platform to go and perform going forward.
Ball bouncing around the halfway line, but Tanaka on the scene just to try and calm things down a bit, but he's dispossessed on that far side by Aziz. Denore spots Harding making a bit of a run down the right hand side. He should get there, and he beats Firpo to the ball, gets down the right hand side of the box. Solomon's trying to defend it, and it comes off Harding last of all. He wanted a corner, but it came off the Millwall defender last of all, and Meslier will have a goal kick away to our right at the Norman Hunter end. PSV have equalised at Arsenal. Comebacks on. 8-2 on aggregate now.
Yeah.
And Ivan Perisic wants of Spurs. He'll have enjoyed that, scoring at the Emirates, regardless of the aggregate score. Arsenal 1, PSV 1. Villa still 0-0 with Club Brugge, but Villa have a man advantage, and they're 3-1 up from the first leg. Dortmund already through tonight, and Atletico still 1-0 up on the night against Real Madrid in the Madrid derby at the Wanda Metropolitano. That's 2-2 on aggregate. Conor Gallagher with the first minute strike for Atletico. Here's Billy Mitchell for Millwall. 1-0 to them, and he hits the referee. Hit the back of Dean Whitestone, so he has to blow his whistle because it didn't make it through to another Millwall player.
I tell you what, he's looked really bright since he's come on, Billy Mitchell.
Oh, Dean Whitestone. Oh, I see you mean.
Come on, Dan.
Well, I guess he's got a point to prove, Billy Mitchell, because he's one of the players that was dropped tonight from the weekend. 23 years of age. He's a one-club man. It's 160 appearances tonight for Billy Mitchell. Out to the left-hand side it goes for Millwall, and Joe Bryan making tracks into the Leeds half. Aziz just ahead of him down that far touch line, gives it back to Bryan. He's got to go back towards halfway to find Saville, and back into his own half for Jake Cooper. Just chips the ball into the chest of Luke Cundle just over halfway. Mitchell has it again in the centre circle. Looked to fire it out to Aziz on the left-hand side, but it was intercepted. But Millwall still pick up the seconds, and Mitchell will look for Harding on this near side of the Millwall right, almost at the midway point of the Leeds half. Comes in field now. Where's Harding? Tried to toe poke it through to a teammate. He's still got it, Harding, being helped out by Ivanovic, but eventually a toe end from Leeds gets it half clear, and then they give it away again. Mitchell, good strong feet from him, and then Cundle loses possession. And Peru floats the ball over halfway, but that's a poor floated pass intended for Dan James and comfortably picked out of the air by Bryan. And here come Millwall again. It's Aziz down the left-hand side. Only Ivanovic in the box at the moment. Cross fired in by Aziz. And as I mentioned, Ivanovic, the only player there, he went near post. The ball went far and just drifts out on this near side for a Leeds throw. 1-0.
Yeah, somebody needed to be coming in at the far post. Didn't cover the important areas of the goal for a cross the near, one at the penalty spot, one at the far post. The players to do it. There were 3 in the box. Wasn't the worst ball in the world. Just having a little bit of a renaissance here, Millwall.
Very frustrated Alex Neil on the touchline with the possession that Millwall was squandering in those 2 or 3 attempts at building up play. Ball's out from Japhet Tanganga for a throw right on halfway for Leeds United on this near side. Leeds attacking the Revie end. 15 unbeaten at home in the league, winning 13 of those 15, and they've opened the scoring now in 15 of 16 games.
Yeah, it's impressive, isn't it? It's really impressive, and I think they've got the confidence from the back of the goal, the initial goal, and early on in the game, really dictating the play, dropping between the lines. The 2 centre midfield players have been outstanding so far, Tanaka and Rothwell.
Firpo for Leeds, almost at the midway point of the Millwall half. Works it infield to Solomon, tried to work it up to the edge of the area, but Millwall have possession. Billy Mitchell on as a substitute midway through the first half for an injured George Honeyman. Cooper out to the left-hand side for Bryan, who's dispossessed by Dan James, who then just drifts past Billy Mitchell. He's going through the gears, Dan James. Now checks at the right-hand corner of the box, tries to play across, and it's blocked by Bryan, who'd got back goal side. James has it again. Aziz slips, allowing James to try and attempt a cross shot, and he went way over the crossbar and behind for a goal kick to Millwall. Leeds 1, Millwall 0. 5 minutes to the break on Talksport 2.
Yeah, a wonderful play by James. It's been really apparent the work rate of the two wide players for Leeds, Solomon and James. They work their socks off when they've not got it. They sprint to get back into position. Seen it on countless occasions where they've stopped Millwall going forward or getting a crossing. You know, they do the both sides of the coin. It's been brilliant.
So 1-0 here, 1-0 to Watford against Swansea, 1-0 to Stoke against Blackburn in the 8 o'clock kickoff, and 0-0 between Hull and Oxford and Portsmouth and Plymouth. Both Arsenal and Villa drawing in the Champions League. Arsenal 1-1, Villa 0-0, but Club Brugge down to 10 men. Joe Bryan for Millwall lofts the ball in high into the Leeds half, asking Ivanovic to give chase, but the ball had gone out of place, according to the assistant on the far side of the field. So Leeds will have a throw midway point, I guess, of their own half on that east stand side, the Jack Charlton stand, the two-tier stand now here at Ellen Road that really does stand out when you're driving down the M621 and the stadium comes into view. Lucas Jensen, the Millwall keeper, fires it downfield. Ivanovic looking for the flick on, comfortably headed clear by Roden, but only as far as Saville. Now Aziz coming in from that left-hand side for the moment. Support from Denore. Aziz has gone again down the left-hand side. Has to hold it up because, again, there's not many Millwall players in the box, and by the time there were players drifting into that penalty area, Leeds are one possession back. Tanaka fires it out of play. That's going to be a throw to Millwall down that left-hand side as we have 2.5 minutes of normal time to play at Ellen Road in this first half on Talksport 2.
There's been some really good battles in wide areas, you know. Both full-backs have played well for both sides, and both wide players have been really bright. Both sets of wide players.
Back it goes to Mitchell, just inside the Millwall half. Cooper, his captain, just to his left, floats it out to Aziz once more, cushions the header down for Bryan, the left back, who rode the challenge of James, went down, then goes down again, and gets a free kick from the referee as Tanaka had a bit of a nibble at him down the Millwall left. So a free kick for the visitors, and let's see how many players they put into the penalty box, because you said it before kick-off, Neil Redfern. Set pieces is where players like Cooper and Tanganga are a bit of a target for Millwall to try and find in the penalty area.
Well, on the other side of it as well, it has definitely been Leeds' Achilles heel, defending set players against.
Why?
So it's whether they switch off or whether they don't pick up. You know, I've seen countless times where they've dropped points, not so much at home, but definitely away from home.
Bryant's going to take the free kick out on the left-hand side, not quite the midway point of the half. It's deep to the far post. Tanganga rises, gets his head to it, but it drifts behind for a goal kick. Sort of came off the side of his head really more than anything else, and he couldn't direct it. He was trying to direct it back across the face of goal from the right-hand side. Goal kick to Leeds, who lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, it wasn't the best ball in, was it? It was a lofted, long ball in. He needs whipped in with a little bit of pace, so they could have steered the header at goal. I think Leeds have been valued for the performance so far. The 1-goal lead, to be fair, Dance, I think they've passed the ball well. I think they've competed well. I think in both wide players they've basically got match winners on the side.
Plymouth have just taken the lead at Portsmouth just shy of half-time. Bringing the goal scorer as soon as I know more about that. But Plymouth 6 points adrift of safety. That's a big goal for them down at Fratton Park, who beat Leeds on Sunday, let's not forget. Aziz for Millwall. Step over as he gets to the left-hand corner of the box, plays the ball into the area, it's deflected behind, corner kick, nothing Meslier could do, he couldn't catch the ball up in time, and so Millwall have a corner away on the far side of the field where the Norman Hunter meets the Jack Charlton stand. 1-0 Leeds.
Yep, this is where Leeds have got to come into their own now. Got to make sure they pick up, make sure they're diligent, don't let people get a run on them. Renowned for having good set plays, Millwall, big physical centre-backs that come up and go and attack things, they get good ball in. particularly at...
and we're going into 4 minutes of minimum stoppage time. All of that really for the long delay with George Honeyman's injury. Had to go off with a groin problem, replaced by Billy Mitchell. But Joe Bryant's going to take this corner. A left-footed outswinger for Millwall at the Norman Hunter end. Cooper goes up and heads it wide, and he was a free header. Didn't have to jump for it. Just to the right of the penalty spot. Tried to guide it into the bottom corner, but it was a good 3 or 4 yards wide in the end. But that kind of backs up what Neil Redfern's been saying about Leeds at set pieces. They did not pick up Millwall's captain. 1-0 though to Leeds.
Yeah, that was a great opportunity. He's got to be at least steering that onto the target. To be fair, Jake Cooper, but as it is, goes wide of the post.
Goal kick to Meslier, and again you can throw a blanket over all the outfield players just either side of the halfway line as it's thumped downfield by Meslier. Drops in the centre circle, flicked on by Kundle. Now a bit of head tennis around the centre circle. Kundle gets it again, but it ricochets off his boot, and Leeds get it back, and it's sent down the left hand side, beautifully brought out the sky by Manor Solomon. Level with the 18-yard line, down this left-hand side, rolls it back to Rothwell. Tanaka in space, just out of the centre circle, has it now. Bogle to his right, calling for it. Tanaka still holding on to it now, gives it to Bogle. Level with the edge of the area. Tanaka has the ball played back to him. Rothwell fires it out to James on the far right-hand side of the field. James coming infield, gives it away to Mitchell, though. And the ball's back in Millwall's possession. We've played a minute and a half of the minimum 4 that have been added on at the end of this first half. Roden for Leeds finds Tanaka on halfway. Plays a short 1-2 with Bogle. And clips a lovely ball in field to Rothwell. In space, able to move over the halfway line. Gets the ball out to Junior Firpo. Doesn't look like he wants to have a run down the left-hand side, always on the half-turn looking to play infield, but he's making a run now, Firpo, almost found by Aronson. Instead, Rothwell picks it up. Now Firpo wants to have a run. First time cross along the deck into the area. Harding gets there first for Millwall, and Mitchell will toe-end it clear to keep it away from Aronson. Ivanovic goes up to try and win possession. Saville, midway point of his own half, being pressurised by Brendan Aronson, keeps possession for Millwall. Back it goes to Harding, floats it up to Ivanovic, brings the ball down on his chest, tries to bring Kundle into the game.
That's a bad challenge.
The bad challenge from Firpo on Saville, right in front of us, and both players are down following that challenge. Saville holding the small of his back. I'm not sure what Firpo's injury is. I think it's his stomach.
Yeah, they proper went for it, both of them there. I think they both had eyes for the ball, to be honest with you, but looks like Firpo's come off worst.
He's only just getting up. He's on all fours at the minute, Junior Firpo. Now he's back on his feet. No physios needed for either player. So we've played 3 minutes of the minimum 4 that have been added on. Millwall then have a free kick inside their own half that Saville himself is going to... it's going to be Casper Denora that's going to take it. It looks an awful lot like George Saville. Right-footed ball smacked diagonally out to the left-hand side, headed away comfortably by Roden, picked up by Bryant on halfway. Now here is Saville just on the halfway line, square ball to Denora, and he will again hit a long ball, slip slightly as he hit it, so he didn't get the distance he wanted. Firpo helps it clear for Leeds. Aronson on halfway, suddenly surrounded by green shirts. One of them, Mitchell, who, as Neil Redfern's been saying, has been very industrious since coming on, and Mitchell carrying the ball down the inside left channel. And now Aziz and Kundle, ball's out of play, and that's the half-time whistle from referee Dean Whitestone. And Leeds United only need 3 minutes to get their noses in front after the disappointment of Sunday lunchtime's defeat at Portsmouth. Manor Solomon getting down the left-hand side of the area, and his cross just came off the shin of Jake Cooper, wrong-footing Lucas Jensen, and from a tight angle it dribbled into the net, and Leeds were in front. They protected it till half-time. Mellier's not had a save to make that I can remember. Leeds haven't necessarily been peppering Lucas Jensen with efforts either. It's been a bit tense and a bit tight, but Leeds got the perfect start, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, definitely. And it probably came against the early running. Millwall started really well from the kick-off. But it was down Manor Solomon's side where the goal came, and there's a little bit of fortune to it. Deflected in past the keeper, left him stranded, give him absolutely no chance, to be honest with you. But I've been quite impressed with how Millwall have stuck at it and been dogged and not just folded. Seen a lot of sides fold under this sort of pressure from Leeds United, but they have been the better side. But it's still a game. There's still something there for Millwall if they can put the foot on the pedal.
Well, we saw this last night. Whilst it's only 1-0, visiting teams have an opportunity. Bristol City got that equaliser on the 90th minute. So I guess, Neil, if things stay as they are as the second half goes on, just the nerves will start to pick up around here. They need that second goal. They need that little bit of clear water between them and their opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw it at the end of this half where they won a couple of corners, Millwall, and you could hear the intake of breath from the Leeds fans. They're almost expecting Millwall to go and equalise. And there was a good chance in there for Jake Cooper. Got on the end of an header, really should have hit the target with it, but I don't think they're out of this, Millwall. You've got to praise Leeds for the way they played. They played some good stuff. And I think Millwall they'll feel that they've invested enough in that half to come out and cause Leeds a problem in the second half.
So to update you on the scores elsewhere in the Championship, there are 5 games being played this evening. Hull 0, Oxford 0 is a half-time score. So too Portsmouth 0, Plymouth 1 at Fratton Park. Plymouth scoring through Mustafa Bundu just shy of half-time. Watford 1, Swansea 0, and still playing in the first half at the Bet365. It's Stoke 1, Blackburn 0. In the Champions League, still playing in the first half in the 3 games that kicked off at 8. Arsenal 1, PSV 1. That's 8-2 on aggregate to the Gunners. Aston Villa 0, Club Brugge 0. That's live on Talksport. Brugge down to 10 men early in the piece. And Atletico Madrid 1, Real Madrid 0. That's 2-2 on aggregate between the Madrid rivals. Conor Gallagher with a first-minute strike, putting Atletico ahead of the Wanderers Metropolitano. You'll hear from Ange Postecoglou shortly. Spurs RZ is live on Talksport 2 tomorrow night. But at the break here on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL, it's Leeds United 1, Millwall 0.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the English Football League.
EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Enjoy a tasty night in delivered to your door with McDelivery. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
Right, brace yourself. Co-op members get 2 pizzas and a tub of Ben & Jerry's and a chance to win Co-op Live tickets for a £5. Yep, a £5. It's kind of a big deal, eh?
You're unbelievable.
Co-op, owned by you, right by you.
Ends 25th of March, subject to availability. 100 pairs of tickets to be won. Co-op group members only. See co-op.co.uk/win tickets.
I'm Jane Mulkerrins, Associate Editor of The Times magazine. This weekend, you can read The Times and Sunday Times for free and discover the best of our journalism. We've got an interview with the iconic artist Grayson Perry, an exclusive extract about John and Paul's relationship before the Beatles. We reveal who made it onto our first ever Beauty Rich list. And don't miss our Formula One coverage, including Lewis Hamilton's debut race for Ferrari. Read The Times and Sunday Times for free this weekend at thetimes.com.
Get ready for the most anticipated F1 season in years. And see every race live.
It's lights out and away we go.
See if Lewis will be reborn in red. Can Lando land the big one? Or will Max make it 5 out of 5?
Champion of the world.
The new season starts 16th of March. See every race live for just £15 extra a month. Only on Sky Sports F1. Offer ends 26th of March. Sky TV required. See sky.com for details. Further terms apply.
Cheltenham. It's a proper festival. Proper hills, thrills and decibels. It deserves proper value. So William Hill give you a top price guarantee on the first and feature race every day at Cheltenham. That's proper value from a proper bookmaker. William Hill, Cheltenham, done properly. Online and in shop. Race winner market valid 12 p.m. day prior to race start. Price comparison with selected online/shop competitors. Excludes lay bets and boosts. T's and C's apply. 18 plus gamble aware. Play responsibly.
There's never been a better time to buy a Citroen van. There's £750 saving on the whole Citroen van range during our Professional Days event from the 17th of February to 17th of March. Choose electric, and you even get a free EV charger with residential installation. Whatever the size and shape of your business, Citroen has a van to suit your needs. Interested? Visit your local Citroen retailer or search Citroen Vans. Offer valid 17th Feb to 17th March 25. Saving on the road price. Business users, selected stock, participating retailers only. EV charger electric models only. T's and C's and eligibility criteria apply.
At Morrison's, more card prices save you money on your shop. With Surf Powder 80 washes, regular price £10.
More card price.
£7. That's less than 9p per wash. And 1.25 litres of Diet Coke and Coke Zero, regular price £2.
More card price.
90p. That's better than half price. Pay less with Morecard.
More reasons to shop at Morrison's.
Majority of supermarkets online varies. Selected Morrison's daily stores. Morecard are app required. 16 plus. Serve 4 kilos.
The Women's Football Show with Leanne Sanderson.
On Talksport 2.
Every Monday night, I'll bring you unbiased analysis of the entire women's game.
The left-footed delivery comes in, it's fantastic! It's gone into the back of the net!
World-beating big match conversation.
And big name interviews every week.
I think you feel like you've got a lot of time and then suddenly you're just in it.
It's the only dedicated women's football show on UK radio.
That injury seems years ago now.
The Women's Football Show with Leanne Sanderson.
Monday night from 7 on Talksport 2, the home of women's football.
The sports machine turns you on to the power of live football.
He fires in a beauty.
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
You're listening to Leeds Millwall in the EFL Championship live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Enjoy a tasty night in delivered to your door with McDelivery. I'm Ian Danter, Neil Redfern alongside me, former Leeds manager Neil. It's 1-0 to Leeds at the break, full second half commentary to come. Meanwhile, it's been another incredible day at Prestbury Park, Cheltenham, live on the Talksport network.
Here we go, standing start, off we go. New Line and Harry Skelton driving it up on the far side yellow clay. New Line may get up. New Line is going to get up. He's brave. He's as brave as a lion, and he wins by a length. He had to dig deep coming up the hill, but Harry Skelton and Dan Skelton have got their Cheltenham off to a winner.
Absolutely fantastic performance from the New Lion.
Lecky Watson drifting around, also trying to pick up his better days ahead and start a story, but Lecky Watson looks to have the race at his mercy, and he has, and he's going to win by about 5 lengths.
I thought it was a really, really nice performance from the winner. He's travelled really strongly the whole way through this race.
They're side by side, coming to the final fence. Who's going to get the advantage? Arcolixios tumbles down, and that may have handed victory for Marine National. Captain Guinness is a long way back in second, but this is a heartfelt moment. 2 years ago, it was Michael O'Sullivan stayed on this horse. Sadly died early this year, but John Bond's run on to be second, but it's all about Marine National.
What a day. Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly calling them home on Talksport. A dramatic one at Cheltenham on day 2 of the festival. Odds-on favourites being beaten again, and an emotional win for Marine National that you just heard there in the champion chase. Be more drama for you on day 3, which you'll be able to hear across the Talksport network. The breakfast show also comes live from Cheltenham in the morning with Alan Brazil possibly, Ali McCoy's definitely, and Gabby Agbonderhall, who may well be celebrating Villa's safe passage through to the last 8 of the Champions League, because they're currently 0-0 with 10-man Club Brugge in the second leg at Villa Park, live on Talksport right now. From 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Paul Hawksby and Charlie Baker will bring you the first 5 races through till 4 p.m, and a load of celebrity guests joining in the fun. Whilst here on Talksport 2, Racing Live with Lee Mackenzie and the team will bring you comprehensive coverage and analysis of every single race from 1. Plus you get a bonus preview show in the morning between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock to help you out and mark your car for your pin stickers guide and all that. You can listen to all the shows via the Talksport app. You can swipe effortlessly between Talksport and Talksport 2, plus our other stations like Times Radio and the Virgin group of music stations as well, if you want some music for your day. So Talksport 2's commentary tomorrow night in the Europa League. Spurs trailing by a 1-0 as they welcome AZ Alkmaar to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Alex Crook and Dean Ashton will be your commentary team for that match that kicks off at 8 here, whilst Manchester United Sociedad is live on Talksport. Let's hear now from the Spurs boss, Ange Postecoglou. He was asked in today's press conference if he regrets saying that he always wins a trophy in his second season.
My view has always been when you ask the question, you answer it. And, you know, I wasn't making anything up. I was asked a question. I answered that question. Now, people have sort of, used it for their own purposes in suggesting I'm making a bold claim. But I wasn't. I was stating a fact. Now, if that doesn't happen this year, then I can't say that anymore if I'm asked next year, can I? So, but what was I supposed to say? Well, yes, I always win one in the second year, but, well, I have in the past, everywhere I've been, but here it won't happen. Is that what people want us to hear? Or I don't have an issue with that. I mean, I think, like I said, people can twist these things and use them, and you know what? Maybe we defy all the odds and I do win something. You know what people will say? Oh, you know, wasn't it great that he made such a bold claim? And you know, people just use it the way they want to, depending on the circumstances. I'll always answer things the way I feel comfortable in answering them. I'm really comfortable. I'm proud of the fact that, you know, wherever I've been, I've won things. I think it's something that I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't. Whether I win something in my second year here, then time will tell.
That's Ange Postecoglou speaking to the media ahead of the home tie against RZ. Trailing by 1-0, that freak own goal from Lucas Bergdahl separating the sides. Neil Redfern's alongside me, former manager. Do Spurs have the testicular fortitude to get through that second leg, Neil?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I think they've got the players. I mean, look, they've had a horrific injury list. Ange has had to deal with. You know, and I just feel at times they've been at odds with perhaps his game model, if you like, the way that they play, you know, risk and reward. But I still feel that they've got enough to get through the tie if they can bring their A game.
Son Heung-min's been the hero for so many Spurs fans for so many years, but just lately our own Jamie O'Hara's been getting stuck into his captaincy and whether he's leading the team as he should be. Is that a bit misguided from Jamie, or is he onto something there?
Well, I think there's been times where, you know, he's probably struggled a little bit, Sonny, you know, with his own performance as regards, you know, what's been happening in recent games. But, you know, I think his makeup as a player, or his DNA as a player, is definitely as a leader. You know, leaders come in all different guises. You don't have to be the shouter in ball in, you know, midfield or centre-back leader that G's your team up. You know, leaders can come in all sorts of sizes. And I think he's a model pro. You know, I think teammates like him. Is a top quality player. You know, he's maybe just getting into the latter stages of his career now, probably. But I think that makes him even more of a choice for a captain.
So RZ travel to Spurs tomorrow night. It's live on Talksport 2. 8 o'clock kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Meantime, on Talksport, it's 1-1 after the first leg between Real Sociedad and Manchester United before they rock up at Old Trafford. Jim Radcliffe's had a lot to say. He's done a lot of interviews in the past couple of days talking about a brand new purpose-built stadium not too far from where Old Trafford currently resides. Seems to me, and I don't really have a dog in the fight, Neil Redfern, but no, he's got an awful lot to say because he's always been forced into it. We've heard nothing from the Glazer family, who still own the vast majority of that club and still take money out of the club through leveraging debt. Yeah, absolutely. You know, they seem happy to just take a step back and let him be the face or the front man for the club. You know, he's 1 minute is cutting costs by, you know, laying staff off, and the next minute he's talking about building a new stadium. You know, I think they've got to try and get things right on the pitch first. You know, whatever that takes. But you know, there's definitely a lot of work to do. No two ways about it. Two managers there in Postecoglou and Amorim, yes, who are very much set in their ways about the style of football that they want to play. Yeah, and they're fairly bloody-minded about sticking to it no matter what and no matter who's available. Amorim's only had one transfer window, let's not forget, to try and make adjustments. What a pivotal summer they've got coming at Manchester United. How on earth they try and rip things up and start again effectively, because that's what they're going to have to do. Yeah, absolutely, and the players will know it's coming, to be honest with you. So, you know, I'm not saying that they're going to down tools, you know, but they're definitely looking after themselves and looking for the next move. You know, I agree. I mean, I think with Ange Postecoglou as well, you know, he really wants this game model to work, this way of playing to work. Whether he's got the players to do it, I'm not sure. You know, lots of times I've seen Spurs struggle where they empty the midfield and teams come onto them. You know, the way he wants them to play, they've got to be really strong in transition, both, you know, in losses and in regains. But, you know, they don't seem to be picking that message up, to be honest. So you've got a choice of listening tomorrow night for Europa League action across the Talksport network. Use the app and you can swipe between Manchester United, Real Sociedad on Talksport and Spurs against RZ on Talksport 2. and tomorrow night on the Talksport Darts YouTube channel from about 7:10. Night 6 of the Premier League at the Nottingham Arena. Little have won convincingly in Brighton on week 5. Join the Darts on the Radio gang from about 7:10, and they'll bring you all 7 matches from Premier League Night 6 on that Darts YouTube channel. Subscribe at will, and you get loads of content on there as well from the world of darts. Darts on the radio, it works, and on YouTube. A reminder of the half-time scores in the Championship, with both sets of players back out here at Ellen Road, ready for the second half. Hull 0, Oxford 0, Portsmouth 0, Plymouth 1, Watford 1, Swansea 0. Those 3 games are already back underway for the second half. Half-time in the 8 o'clock kickoff, Stoke 1, Blackburn 0. And here at Ellen Road, Leeds get the first half done, leading by a goal to 0, but it's Millwall who'll start the second half off in their change strip of all dark green, heading for the Revy end in the second half. Millwall away to our left, Leeds in all white, heading from left to right towards the Norman Hunter end to our right. And I'll just run you through the lineups. Leeds with Meslier in goal, Bogle, Roden, Strike and Firpo, Tanaka and Rothwell, James, Aronson and Solomon and Peru. As for Millwall, Jensen in goal, Harding, Tanganga, Cooper and Bryan. Saville, as Solomon gets away down the left-hand side of the area for Leeds, sweeps in across to the far post, looking for Daniel James, but Joe Bryan gets a flick header, and it's cleared away by Femi Aziz. Little toe end away by Donotta to keep it temporarily away from Tanaka, but he wins it back. Rothwell scheming down the inside right channel as Leeds get on the front foot early in this second half. Tanaka again drifting towards the right-hand corner of the penalty area, plays it infield for Brendan Aronson, who gives it back to Tanaka down the right-hand side of the box, tries to fire it into the near post, only half cleared by Millwall, but eventually Aziz lofts it up in the air. Ivanovic will try and win the header, but it's won instead by Joe Roden. I was going through the Millwall team for you. It's, as I mentioned, Jensen in goal, Harding, Tanganga, Cooper and Bryan, Saville, Donotta, Kundal, Mitchell, Aziz and Ivanovic. George Honeyman started the game but went off with what looked like a groin injury, which means Mitchell came on for him. Given away by Joe Rothwell. That's a collector's item as he passed straight to Femi Aziz. And Mitchell, who's looked lively since coming on, works the ball out to the right-hand side. Plymouth are already 2-0 up in the early stages of the second half at Fratton Park. Ryan Hardy making it Portsmouth 0, Plymouth 2. I bet there's Leeds fans listening to that score. I said, what on earth is going on? But that's the Championship for you.
Yeah, they found the feet. Definitely Portsmouth. But just looking at the opening exchanges in this game here, Leeds carrying on where they left off. Lots of possession, lots of build. Not really penetrating Millwall yet, but Millwall have yet to find the feet.
Ball thrown back to the halfway line for Millwall to try and build from the back with Japhet Tanganga. Once off Tottenham, who we were talking about just a minute or so ago. Sorry, Tottenham Hotspur. Can't call them Tottenham anymore, can you? It's against the rules. Ball's knocked back to Jake Cooper. Just keeps the ball and sends it out left to Joe Bryan. Back it goes to the tall, rangy Jake Cooper once again. Such a great servant for Millwall. 377th appearance tonight since he had an initial loan from Reading back in 2017. Ball's passed out of play by Joe Bryan, right in front of Daniel Farker. And the Leeds throw the ball back into play, and it's with Al Tanaka. Roden finds Bogle on this near side. Our commentary position midway up the John Charles main stand with the Revy end to our left and the Norman Hunter to our right. It's the Norman Hunter end that Leeds are attacking in this second period. 3 minutes gone. Still 1-0 to Leeds with that early Jake Cooper own goal. Donotta trying to build down the left-hand side and flick it into the path of Femi Aziz, but it just drifted away from the Millwall number 11 and out of play for a throw.
Yeah, just looking at the Millwall back four as we dance. And since the play started, they're a lot higher up the pitch.
About 5 yards maybe,
yeah,
10 yards
I think it's
up.
probably, Alex Neil's probably said, look, we need to get higher up the pitch, we need to get closer to Leeds if we're going to get anything out of this game.
Leeds give the ball away. Firpo, the guilty party, that time over on the left-hand side. Still waiting for goals at the MKM. Hull 0, Oxford 0. Goals everywhere else in the Championship tonight, including here with 4 minutes gone in the second half. If you're just tuning into EFL Live, it's Leeds 1, Millwall 0. But here come Millwall down the left-hand side with the lively Femi Aziz. Works it back to George Saville. Mitchell now has it, just in front of the centre circle. He sensed that Dan James was thundering in behind him. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal 2, PSV 1, and half-time at Villa Park on Talksport. Villa 0, Club Brugge 0, but Club Brugge down to 10 men. So them getting back the 2 goals from that 3-1 deficit all the tougher. Now Manor Solomon carrying the ball down the inside left for Leeds. Scott Tanganga backpedaling, goes on the outside of him, comes off the top of the crossbar with a left-footed drive, and it's a goal kick. Great strike from Manor Solomon, but just couldn't keep it down. And it hits the frame of the goal and goes over for a Millwall goal kick, 1-0.
Yeah, that's the sort of positive wing play that we've come to used to seeing from Manor Solomon. Just drives at his man. He's backpedaling into the penalty area. Wes Harding, and he's twisting and turning Solomon. He strikes it beautifully. It just clips the top of the crossbar as it goes over, but good play by Leeds. They're so dangerous in transition. Got the pace to get round the opposition's box quickly.
And now they've probably got an extra 4 or 5 yards to try and get him behind.
Yes.
If they play the ball right. As you mentioned, that Millwall are pushing up a bit more at the back. Incidentally, it's half-time as well at the Wanda Metropolitano. Atletico Madrid 1, Real Madrid 0. That early goal from Conor Gallagher means it's 2-2 on aggregate, and therefore, as it stands, heading for extra time and possibly penalties. Ball back on halfway with Pascal Strike for Leeds. Rodon send the ball all the way back to Ilan Meslier. Rodon again receives it from his goalkeeper, being pressurised by Casper Denora. Plays it up to halfway. Little back flick from Dan James trying to get Aronson away. Saville slid in. He felt he'd won the ball, and the referee is going to have a word with Saville, but isn't going to book him. I think he felt that was a foul, but not a reckless challenge from George Saville.
Yeah, it was right in front of the linesman as well, to be fair. He good sight, the referee, but chose not to book him.
He's kept his cards in his pocket so far, Dean Whitestone.
Which is a good thing.
Joe Rothwell for Leeds in the centre of the Millwall half. Flicks it to his right for Tanaka. Just lifts the ball down the left-hand side of the box for Firpo. Plays it back to the edge of the area. Just won't run through for Aronson. Millwall trying to get it clear, but Kundal is dispossessed by Aronson. Drifting down the left-hand side. Solomon got 2 Millwall players for company. Down by the corner flag. Has he won a corner? He has indeed. Good work from Manor Solomon. Wins Leeds United a corner, and they lead by a 1-0.
Yeah, just rewinding back to that ball from Ao Tanaka. What a lovely pass. It was just faded in behind the Millwall backline. He was so unlucky not to get on the end of that. Aronson, good play.
And now Joe Rothwell going across to take the corner. He was at Southampton last year, but didn't feature in the playoff final against Leeds. Plays it short, gets it back at the left-hand corner of the area, runs across the 18-yard line, drives it goalwards, blocked by a sea of players in front of goal. But here's Tanaka winning it back, playing it in near post, and Peru couldn't touch it in. Comes back out to James on the Leeds right. 2 Millwall opponents for company. Finds Tanaka drifting down the right-hand side of the area. Heads out towards the corner flag to keep the ball alive, and Brian slides in and concedes the throw. Leeds trying to turn the screw here and get a second.
Yeah, they're just starting to wobble a little bit, Millwall, in these last 2 or 3 minutes. Really turning the screw. Leeds.
Volume goes up inside Ellen Road as Aronson wins a corner, deflected off Denora. And so Leeds continue to keep the pressure on at the Norman Hunter end with this corner that Rothwell's going across to take. Very noisy place, Ellen Road, always noisy. Only about 400 Millwall fans have made the trip up, so they made extra tickets available for Leeds fans. There's 1 or 2 empty seats in the top tier of the Jack Charlton stand opposite, but it's pretty much packed everywhere else. As Rothwell prepares to take this right-footed out-swinging corner from where the Norman Hunter meets the John Charles Main stand. But before he can take it, referee wants a word with a few players that are just pushing and shoving around the edge of the area. A bit of light drizzle falling at Ellen Road.
Just looking at Millwall set up here from the corner quickly, Dan. It's like they've got nobody on the post. And obviously it leaves the keeper free to come and get it, but leaves the goal really open at times.
Rothwell will now strike it. The referee just keeping an eye on that bumping and barging at the edge of the area. Rothwell sends the corner in, up go the heads. It doesn't find anybody's head, and Kundal just turns and fires it downfield, asking Aziz to give chase, but Bogle was the last man back on halfway, and he can calmly roll it back to his goalkeeper, Meslier. Leeds 1, Millwall 0. Played 54.5 minutes on Talksport 2 at Ellen Road. This result will put Leeds United 2 points clear of Sheffield United at the top of the table before they head to QPR on Saturday lunchtime. That's live on Talksport as part of Game Day. Here's Dan James, infield for Peru, who's dropping deep again. Tanaka takes over in the centre of the Millwall half, flicks it through to Aronson, who gives it back to Tanaka. Out to the left-hand side, and Firpo. Tanaka again, drifts away from the attentions of Mitchell, looks for Peru at the edge of the area, half cleared, comes back to Aronson with a dipping shot on the rise from the edge of the area, but it just wouldn't sit down for him, and it went over the crossbar, and Millwall have another goal kick. 1-0 to Leeds United.
It's a good strike though. He's really unlucky. He dips it. He's trying to get it under the bar, but he misses the target wide of the far post. But brilliant play by Tanaka, just to pass his way into that edge of the penalty area, and he works it free for Aronson. Been really outstanding today, I think, Tanaka.
Well, he's had to work his way back into Leeds fans' affections, Brendan Aronson, after leaving the club in somewhat acrimonious circumstances. Pulls out on the edge of the centre circle with Brendan Aronson, finds Joel Peru. Good skill and persistence. Works it back to Firpo. Now Aronson down the inside left channel for Leeds. Out to the left-hand side, and Solomon plays it infield to Rothwell. Gives it back to Solomon. Down the left-hand side, got away from Mitchell. Swings in across. It goes over Dan James' head. And there's a chase on for Bogle. Can he keep it in play on this near side? He can, and he wins a throw off Aziz as well. Good play.
Yeah, excellent play. Not giving anything up, Leeds. Making it really difficult for Millwall to get any sort of a foothold in this game.
Tanaka finds Brendan Aronson, the American. There's an American watching tonight, the CEO of the San Francisco 49ers. Jed York is sitting not too far from us in the director's box, alongside Angus Kinnear, who's leaving Leeds at the end of the season, the CEO, to go to Everton. And Greta Steinson, who's the technical director at Ellen Road, is also in the director's box tonight. Well, he'll be enjoying his night so far, having flown across from the West Coast. It is CEO Jed York watching on as Leeds lead by a 1-0. And they're in possession with Joe Rothwell down the left-hand side. Aronson rolls it back to Tanaka, centre of the Millwall half. Slowly gives it back to Aronson. Ball up to Solomon, who's coming from the left flank. But the ball goes back out to that left-hand side, and Aronson's stationed out there. Solomon now picks it up in field, rolls it up to Peru. First time ball for Aronson. Angles tight left-hand side of the box, and he ran out of room in the end. Lovely idea from Joel Peru to try and roll in Brendan Aronson inside the box. But he just ran out of ground, and it's another Millwall goal kick away to our right. Nearing the hour mark on Talksport 2, it is still Leeds United 1, Millwall 0.
Yeah, that's excellent play. They just get a really good framework in that final third, Leeds, where they can pass and probe and work their way in to the opposition's penalty area. He's been unlucky on 2 or 3 occasions now, Aronson, with little give and goes.
Goal kick for Millwall, comfortably won in the air by Joe Rodon. Ivanovic up front had absolutely no change out of strike and Rodon so far tonight, has he?
No, there's no support for him whatsoever. Everything's behind the ball, to be honest with you. All hands to the pump.
Here's Joel Peru for Leeds, looking to get Bogle in behind, right-hand side of the area, but it was well watched by Aziz. Saville just has to put the ball out for a throw. I think there's more changes coming up for Millwall. Alex Neil's having a word with a couple of players down beneath us.
Yeah, they've got a bit of a stranglehold on this game, this half. Dance. So difficult for Millwall to put anything together.
Given away by Leeds, but straight away Denora gives the ball back to Rothwell. Tries to get Bogle away down the right-hand side, but the pass is overhit and will go out of play for yet another Millwall goal kick. And there's a lot of activity on that Millwall bench. They've already had to make one change, forced upon them by the injury to George Honeyman. But there's going to be at least 2 more changes, possibly 3 coming up at this point, as we near the hour mark on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Leeds 1, Millwall 0. Jensen's goal kick, again looking for Ivanovic. Goes up for a head, and again Roden wins it and heads it out to this near side and goes out of play for a throw. Still Hull 0, Oxford 0. Portsmouth 0, Plymouth 2, Watford 1, Swansea 0, and Stoke 1, Blackburn 0 in the Championship games tonight. Neil Redfern.
Yeah, I just think that what you tend to forget as well is when you're really working hard without the ball, it's so tiring. You know, it's far less tiring when you've got the ball. And they've really worked the socks off Millwall just to stay in this game. And they might be looking at that, Alex Neil, just to freshen it up a little bit.
Well, Edomo Imaku and Tristan Kramer are coming on shortly for Millwall. Meanwhile, Tanaka shows good skill on the halfway line to turn away from trouble. Find Bogle on the right-hand side, but good tenacious defensive work from Aziz, but they've given it away, Millwall. Tanaka looking to feed Peru at the edge of the area, but just underhit the pass, and Millwall have it back. Kundal on this near side, the left midway point of his own half, plays it infield to Mitchell. Mitchell slides it up to halfway. Denore on the half turn can get away, and he can find Aziz, who cuts infield from the left hand side, runs into Roden, and Roden gets it clear, but only as far as Mitchell, who thinks about sending it out to the right hand side for Harding. Breaks a couple of challenges, but then he's dispossessed by Manor Solomon, and it's 4-on-4 for the moment for Leeds. Dan James turning in the centre of the half, but across comes Jake Cooper and wins the ball back well for Millwall.
Do you know what? It's sort of some of the plays scrappy, but it's so it's intriguing to watch because, you know, each time one side regains possession, there's an opportunity to go and attack, and you can see the crowd anticipating it, but rolling the dice now, Alex Neil.
Yeah, Harding is coming off for Kramer, and Denora is coming off to allow Edomo Imaku to come on. So Imaku joined from Shamrock Rovers a couple of years ago, just 21 years of age. Speedy little left winger. Kramer is a full-back, so it's a like-for-like switch there. I saw him play a couple of times for Exeter this season where he was on loan, but he was recalled. He's moved on an undisclosed fee from Brentford to come here in January. Tristan Kramer. So he's in at right back. Imaku's gone out to the left-hand side, and Kundal's pushed back in field again. Leeds 1, Millwall 0. Let's see how those changes affect Millwall and see if it gives them any more balance. Aziz has gone to the right-hand side of midfield now. So Imaku on the left, Aziz on the right. So they've got creativity from the flanks on both sides now, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, and he's obviously going to cut inside on his left foot, you would have thought, from that right-hand side.
Joe Bryan and Dan James getting a tangle, and the free kick goes Leeds' way. And Daniel Farker throwing his hands out to the side, saying, "Where's the yellow card for the former Fulham man, the left back for Millwall?" But there is no such yellow card emerging from the referee's pocket.
I'm not sure this is a yellow card offence, you know. I mean, yeah, he pulls him down slightly, but they're just both battling and fighting for the ball. And I think in keeping with the game, the referee's, you know, not showing any cards again. It is a free kick. There's nothing wrong with that.
So Joe Rothwell is spotting it down. It's near the right-hand corner of the Millwall penalty area, away to our right at the Norman Hunter end. And Rothwell's just having a conversation with Pascal Strike, possibly about where Strike wants it delivered so he can get his big head behind it.
Well, that combo have led to goals in recent games, to be honest with you.
So Rothwell waiting to take this free kick. Ibaku's protecting the near post, a one-man wall just inside the area for Millwall. Very deliberate 3 or 4 paces back from the ball by Rothwell. raises both arms above his head. Millwall holding their defensive line level with a penalty spot. In it comes from Rothwell, and it's headed right over the bar by Dan James at the near post, got right underneath it. And Oxford United have taken the lead at Hull City. Michael Hellick up from the back. It's a big goal for Oxford United in their bid to get away from trouble. Plymouth are winning, remember, 2-0 at Portsmouth. So as it stands at the bottom, Plymouth on 33, Luton on 34, Derby on 35, Cardiff on 36, and Hull, who are losing to Oxford, 37 points. Stoke are winning tonight against Blackburn. They're on 39. Oxford up to 42 with the 3 points they're currently getting.
I tell you what, it never fails to give, does it, the Championship? Every season.
And remember, at the top, with these 3 points that Leeds currently have courtesy of this scoreline, they'll go on to 79 points with 9 to play. Sheffield United 77 and Burnley 75. Sunderland back on 69. Blackburn will stay on 52 if they lose that game at Stoke, which will keep them 4 points off a playoff place. Coventry are in the final playoff spot on 56, same number of points as West Brom, and then there's a 13-point gap to Sunderland, so it's really positions 5 and 6 in the Championship that those in the chasing pack are targeting, including Millwall, but they're going to have to be so good from this point on to overhaul teams, and this result will do them no favours at all. Leeds 1, Millwall 0. Leeds trying to play out from the back, almost gave the ball up to Millwall in their own defensive third, but Dan James scoots away from Joe Bryant. In slides Kundal to win it back, and Saville lays it back to Cooper, fires it up to the halfway line. Imaku tries to touch it in field. Right, ricochet on the halfway line. It breaks for Leeds, and Joe Rothwell thought about passing it left and may still do so. Furpo's come in field, urged to shoot. No, he slips it down the left-hand side of the area for Solomon. Across the face of goal, Cooper blocks it back, straight to Solomon. Still got it dead ball line, tries to square it across. No one in a white shirt can get a touch on 6 yards. And Millwall clear their lines. Ball's back with Rodon on halfway. Still 1-0 to Leeds.
Yeah, it's incessant. Can't get out of their own half. Millwall, they're really trying, they're really game, but really turning the screw. Leeds. It's great to watch. Good football.
Tanaka finds Brendan Aronson. Rothwell. Still only 1-0. They really want the comfort and the cushion of a second goal.
Yeah, it only takes a set piece or up the other
Solomon
end.
Again getting into the area, rolls it back to the edge of the box, and Aronson right for the shot, deflected, corner kick.
Fortune just favoured him again, but they're getting bodies in the way. You've got to give them credit. Millwall, they've not give this up whatsoever. You're just getting overrun at times by a side that's playing with confidence.
Aston Villa 1, Club Brugge 0. That's 4-1 on aggregate to the Villains. Marco Asensio scores once again for Villa. That's live on Talksport right now. Arsenal 2-1 up on PSV, and Atletico still 1-0 up against Real, meaning that's still 2-2 on aggregate. Leeds 1-0 up here, midway point of the second half, and they have a corner at the Norman Hunter end, right hand side for Joe Rothwell. Smacks it into the 6-yard line, and it's going to come back to him. Gets to the edge of the area now, Rothwell bringing it in. Rise to the challenge of Aziz. He tried to drive it goals with his left foot, but got it all wrong, and it went a good 10-15 yards wide of the right hand post, and it's a goal kick to Millwall, and Daniel Farker cutting a rather frustrated figure down beneath us. Alex Neil stock still.
Yeah, that's the first time his composure's left him. Rothwell did brilliant, dropped his shoulder, beat his man in the box, and then his eyes lit up. Just
he saw glory, didn't he?
Yeah, just keep your composure.
You've been there. You've been there, haven't you?
I'd have scored there.
Yeah, of course you would. Neil Redfern with his former Barnsley stalwart in midfield. Barnsley dismissing their managers today, Darryl Clark. Conor Harahan is taking over for the rest of the season at Oakwell. A playoff place in League One's not beyond the Tykes at this point, but they've got to be as good as Millwall have got to be in this division to get in amongst it, I guess.
Similar positions, to be honest.
You don't fancy it?
What, playing?
No, Barnsley's job.
Oh, right.
I'm sure you can still do a job out there.
I thought you were quicker than that.
I'm about as quick as you were in midfield.
I know, mate. Yeah. Come on.
1-0 to Leeds. And we're edging towards just over 20 minutes to play at Ellen Road. And this is where the nerves will start to kick in a little bit for the home support if things stay as they are. And as you're right, you mentioned the set-piece idea and the fact that Leeds can be a bit shaky defending set pieces.
And you know what? The value of hanging on in there. You know, it's not been great for Millwall. They've not had a lot of ball. They've not created that many chances. It's been tough. But they've toughed it out, you know. And if they can get it to the last 4 or 5 minutes, you never know.
We saw it last night with Bristol City.
We did.
Who deserved a point and got one.
Yeah, they did.
Through Sykes Lake equaliser. Millwall arguably don't deserve a point necessarily, but when do you ever get what you deserve in the Championship? Ball's in the centre circle with Joe Rothwell. Looks forward, sees Solomon, knocks it infield to Aronson, centre of the half. Bogle calling for it, but Aronson will slide it out to him eventually. Right-hand corner of the area. Plays a 1-2, Bogle to the byline. Good challenge from Imaku, and that goes out off Jayden Bogle last of all.
Yeah.
Complaints from around us, but it did look like it came off Jayden Bogle last.
Yeah, they got it right, didn't they?
Rain starting to intensify. It's more than drizzle here now at Ellen Road. Going to make the surface a little bit greasier and maybe invite 1 or 2 more errors as we go into the last 20 minutes of this game. 1-0 to Leeds.
Yeah, and shots. I mean, this is a sort of surface. It's a nightmare for goalkeepers. The ball becomes like a bar of soap for them.
Jensen's goal kick for Millwall. Out to this left-hand side. Imaku tries to flick it on, but can only flick it out of play for a Leeds United throw. As we get to the closing stages of this game, Millwall have only got 1 win in 8 midweek away games in the league, and they've conceded 14 goals in those 8. Dan James ran straight into Jake Cooper, wanted a free kick, and another wag of the finger from Dean Whitestone as if to say, get on with it.
Yeah, it's a long way around Jake Cooper, to be fair. He's a big lad, isn't he?
He is a mountain of a man. And he's been such an important cog in the
he's played well
Millwall
today.
machine for such a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best part of a decade.
Both him and Tanganga have played well today.
Yeah. Jensen's not had much to do other than pick the ball out the net from that own goal in the 3rd minute from Cooper. It comes out to the edge of his area here as Rothwell was trying to close down Tanganga.
It was the right decision in the end, but it looked a bit iffy at first.
Joe Gelhardt on loan from Leeds has equalised for Hull against Oxford at the MKM. That's 1-1 with quarter of an hour to play. Portsmouth 0, Plymouth 2, Watford 1, Swansea 0, and Stoke 1, Blackburn 0. The other Championship scorelines at the moment here at Ellen Road. 18 minutes of normal time to play. On Talksport 2, Leeds still 1-0 up on Millwall, and coming forward with Joel Peru. Finding Firpo, great feet at the edge of the area. Little back heel for Solomon, drives it into the side netting with a right-footed effort. Lovely back heel from Junior Firpo to set up Manor Solomon, but his right-footed drive caressed the side netting, and it's a goal kick to Millwall, 1-0.
Yeah, great combo between Firpo and Solomon, and to be fair, Solomon, he's got to be going across the goalkeeper, hasn't he? Into that far corner. That's down as a really good chance. That could have put the game to bed.
Millwall under pressure in their own defensive third. Cooper whacks the ball up to halfway. Ivanovic goes up with strike. It's played out to Imaku, who just couldn't take the ball with him at first and advanced down the left-hand side, but he's played the ball in field to Mitchell. Mitchell keeps the ball away from Aronson, and now Saville brings the ball into the Leeds half. Close him down, they say, at Ellen Road. He plays it out to the right-hand side, and Kramer picks it up. First involvement for him, having come on as a sub, and the cross is flapped over the crossbar by Meslier, and it was hit right into the near post by Tristan Kramer, and Meslier, in a panic, flapped it over the crossbar for a corner kick. That wasn't meant as a shot at goal, I don't think, by Tristan Kramer, unless you know different, Neil Redfern.
No, it was definitely a cross. I mean, I'm in between thinking, you know, it wasn't convincing there, Meslier. I mean, he's had that label at him before in games where he's cost Leeds points. Really difficult cross to... Oh, well, it was I don't think it was a shot, it was a cross. Real difficult cross to deal with, but he dealt with it after a fashion.
So George Saville's gone across to where the Revienne meets the Jack Charlton stand to take this corner kick. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger from Saville. Really packed 6-yard box. In it comes from Saville into the near post, flicked onto the near post by Ivanovic. Oh, he dallied on it and allowed Leeds to win it back. And Peru has released Solomon, who's getting over halfway. Dan James going like an express train through the middle. Solomon finds him at the edge of the area. They've got players back goal side now, Millwall.
Great
and
recovery.
Emarku gets it clear.
Great recovery from Millwall. Great work ethic. Really working hard for one another. You know, he'll be a little bit frustrated, Alex Neil, the fact that they are 1-0 down, but they've worked their socks off. You know, they've worked so hard to get something out of this game, but they're still in it.
Gustavo Puerta, the Colombian, who's on loan from Bayer Leverkusen, has put Hull City 2-1 up against Oxford. Hull 2, Oxford 1. Turning it around, Hull City. They were a goal down there. Still Portsmouth 0, Plymouth 2. Still Watford 1, Swansea 0 and Stoke 1, Blackburn 0. Goals going in everywhere, affecting all areas of the Championship table. And here, Leeds 1-goal lead against Millwall's taking them back top by 2 points over Sheffield United. Both teams in action live on Talksport Network over the weekend. Here's Manor Solomon, left-hand corner of the area. Lays it back to Aronson, 25 yards out. Slides it into the path of Dan James in the area. Gets it on his left. Drive is blocked on its way to goal. Comes out to Aronson. Tries to get the shot away. Mitchell blocks it that time at source. And Aziz will pick up the loose ball and try and bring it clear for Millwall. Just fires it downfield, asking Ivanovic to give chase. But both centre-halves are back for Leeds and tidy up.
Yeah, he's on his own. You know, the cavalry's not coming.
He's been on his own most of the night.
Yeah.
Aaron Connolly's coming on shortly for Millwall. Quarter of an hour to go on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Leeds United 1, Millwall 0. Joe Rodon came initially on loan from Spurs, now a permanent addition.
Yeah, he's been a good signing. Really composed, a little bit of pace as well. Does well in both boxes for Leeds.
I never understood why he never made the grade at Spurs.
Yeah.
It was like successive managers never really gave him a run of games, the Welshman, to show what he can do. But the partnership he formed, particularly with Ampadu, but the partnership with Strike's not bad.
Yeah.
But the understanding him and Ampadu have together, the two Welshmen, excellent. Here's Tanaka at the edge of his own penalty area, just drifting away from Kundal, who's trying to pressurise him. Plays it that left to Pascal Strike. Out to the left-hand side and Firpo, still inside their own half here, Leeds, up to the halfway line. And now Rothwell in the centre circle. Looks early for Dan James with a crossfield pass. James cushions a header infield for Bogle, but that's well intercepted by Bryan for Millwall. Bogle stayed down after that challenge. Mitchell turning into trouble, and he's lost out to Firpo, and Firpo feeds Peru right to challenge, gets the shot away, hits his own man Solomon, and goes behind for a goal kick. Not sure whether that shot from Joel Peru was on target, but it hit his own man Manor Solomon. Bogle's still down and slowly picking himself up, and once again Millwall survive and end up with a goal kick, but they still trail by a goal to nil here at Ellen Road.
Yeah, and they're hanging on. But again, you know, clock's ticking down. They're getting towards that time where if they do get a goal, Millwall.
I think that was going wide, to be honest, from Peru.
I tell you what they've done really well is they've got bodies in the way, Millwall. Leeds have got round the box and, you know, they've thrown bodies at it.
Yeah.
Definitely been a bodies on the line performance.
Well, Josh Coburn and Aaron Connolly are coming on to try and rescue the situation, so surely Ivanovic is one of those that's going to be coming off. We'll see who the other player coming off is. There's a Millwall player down on the far side, that's Femi Aziz, who needs treatment. Bogle's back on his feet, so it's Millwall that are holding the game up at the moment, with Aziz needing treatment. Connolly just getting some final instructions from the Millwall bench. He signed for nearly £2.5 million from Sunderland after just 6 months at the Stadium of Light for Aaron Connolly. Scored once against QPR in February. And Josh Coburn, well, I remember him scoring a brilliant goal that knocked Spurs out of the League Cup of the Riverside when he was a Middlesbrough player.
Yeah, they're definitely capable replacements. There's no two ways about it. It's almost like he's thinking that he's brought the game down to this last 10, 12 minutes, hasn't he, Alex Neil? Stayed in it.
So Ivanovic is the first player to come off. Coburn on to replace him. He's had a thankless task all night, really. And Aziz is the player who was injured. He's the one that's coming off to allow Connolly to come on. So Aziz and Ivanovic off. Connolly and Coburn on for these last, how many minutes have we got left here? 10 minutes or so?
Yeah. Been impressed with Femi Aziz.
Been good, lively.
Yeah, good feet, goes past people. Just not had much support. They've not been able to get up the pitch in numbers enough, Millwall, to cause any sort of a threat.
So let's see what looks like a genuine front two for Millwall can do. Big man, little man in Coburn and Connolly. 11 minutes to go. Leeds still 1-0 up as Manor Solomon drives down the left-hand side, flicks it in field for Peru, given away to Connolly, tries to fire it through to Coburn, but it's won back by Rothwell. Overhits the pass down the left-hand side, intended for Manor Solomon, and Kramer very neatly turns. He's a tall man, Tristan Kramer, at full-back, but he looked very classy there as he turned away from the attentions of Solomon. And Millwall have it back at the edge of their own penalty area. Played up to Connolly from Cooper. Lost his footing a couple of times already since coming on, Aaron Connolly, on this greasy surface with the rain that's now stopped, or at least it's back to drizzle in West Yorkshire. Not as intense as it was 5 minutes or so. Still a lot of intense atmosphere around this stadium. Leeds fans want the job done. They want a second goal so they can calm down a bit. But it's still only 1-0. Connolly does well and chips it down the left-hand side to allow Maku to run onto it. Gets inside Coburn, who drags him on the left arm. That's a free kick to Millwall. Left-hand side, midway point of the Leeds half. It's a set piece.
Yeah.
And that'll get the Revy end nerves jangling a little bit. 1-0 Leeds are in front.
Yeah, this is a sort of situation that Leeds have been renowned to sort of struggling in games when they're heading towards 3 points.
By the way, Gabby Ogbonnahor's going to be insufferable on Talksport Breakfast tomorrow morning because Villa are 3-0 up now. 6-1 on aggregate.
No, it's good to see.
Ian Matson got the second and Marco Asensio has 2 on the night with the third goal.
Yep.
And Real Madrid have a penalty at Atletico. Here's the free kick from Joe Bryan for Millwall. Into the area, up goes Cooper at the far post. Came off his shoulder and he goes behind for a goal kick. And Leeds United deal with that set piece well enough. Goal kick, 1-0.
Yeah, pats on the back there for Joe Rodon. Just got his body in the way and made it difficult for Cooper to get any sort of contact on it. He was the target, the big man.
So Arsenal 2-1 up on PSV. Villa 3-0 up on Club Brugge, who were down to 10 men. For the moment, Atletico Madrid 1-0 up against Real Madrid, but a penalty to come at the Wanda Metropolitano for the visitors. And Vinicius has blasted it over the bar, so it stays 1-0 to Atletico. How about that? Vinicius from the penalty spot gets it all wrong, Neil Redfern.
You wouldn't have thought, would you? You wouldn't have backed that with bad money.
Bloke's no good. Well, Liverpool were no good from the penalty spot last night. They're out of the Champions League. So Jason Cundy was having some fun at their expense. Can't really have any fun at Villa's expense or Arsenal's expense tonight, although Arsenal have just been pegged back by PSV. Drewek makes it 2-2 on the night. Still 9-3 on aggregate.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I think,
to Arsenal.
I think he's just trying to make the score respectable, isn't it? Try and win the game.
So in the Championship, Hull 2, Oxford 1, Leeds 1, Millwall 0 here, Portsmouth 0, Plymouth 2, Watford 1, Swansea 0, and in the 8 o'clock kickoff, still 20 minutes to go, Stoke 1, Blackburn 0, but we've got 7.5 minutes of normal time left here in West Yorkshire. Jake Cooper for Millwall heads it into the Leeds half. Coburn trying to get the better of Strike, who does well. Firpo flicks it out to the left-hand side, and Solomon having to track back towards his own penalty area. Fires it back to Meslier. You can hear the thump of the left boot as he knocked it downfield straight onto the head of Tanganga. Mitchell flicks it up in the air for Millwall on halfway. Brought down by Aaron Connolly well, but Roda was in there first. Bryan almost got away from Dan James. Connolly again, turning in field. I think he needs a longer stud. He looks like he's about to fall over every time he gets it.
It looks like he's got flip-flops on from here.
Out to the left-hand side it goes. And Junior Firpo for Leeds United rolls the ball in neatly for Aronson, but a heavy touch means he doesn't head for goal straight away. Has to hold it up for a little while. It's going to be a change for Leeds in just a moment. Ball's back on halfway with Joe Rodon. Now Tanaka into the feet of Firpo. Solomon calling for it out on the left-hand side. Be Gruev on in a minute, the Bulgarian. Possibly to replace Rothwell, I imagine, for a sort of what we have, we hold substitution.
Yeah, he's more of a defensive-minded midfield player.
6 minutes to go. Leeds 1, Millwall 0. Leeds in possession with Rodon on halfway. But we are going to see Willie Gnonto as well for Leeds. Ball's played up to Aronson, drifting down the right-hand side. Bogle out on this near side with him. And we're also going to see Sam Byram coming on for Leeds United. A triple change on the way for Daniel Farke. But here's Rothwell, sliding it to his left for Manor Solomon, 30 yards out, getting the ball into his left foot, slides it down the left-hand side of the area for Firpo, checks onto his right, tries to get it back to the edge of the area. Aronson! 2-0! Leeds United seal the points, and it's Brendan Aronson looking for redemption from the Leeds United fans who were so upset when he left after relegation. He's fired it home from the edge of the area. It's Tanaka, in actual fact, forgive me, who's got the shot. Brilliant finish from Ao Tanaka. Leeds United 2-0 up and heading 2 points clear at the top of the table, and it's the Japanese who fired it home. A rare goal for him. Brilliant finish.
Yeah, the cutback from Firpo's perfect, and as he runs onto it, it's that little bit of composure, just takes a little bit off the strike, finds the far corner, gives the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. That's been quite fitting, to be fair, because he's been outstanding tonight, Tanaka.
And the substitutions are now being made. Rothwell is coming off, so too is Bogle, and so too is Solomon. And so Ao Tanaka gets his 4th goal in Leeds United colours. His last goal was at Sheffield United in that all-important win, when Leeds fans thought they were getting the job done. Well, they got the job done tonight, haven't they, Neil Redfern?
Yeah, and they've been value. If we're honest, you know, you've got to admire Millwall. They've hung on in there. You know, they've made it really difficult for Leeds. They've competed with them, they've blocked shots, but in the end, that little bit of quality is just told. I think it's quite fitting that Tanaka's got the 2nd goal and probably the winning goal.
So Gnonto and Byram and Gruev are all on. 34,401, and 34,000 of those are Leeds fans. There's a very small travelling contingent of Millwall fans, but the 34,000 are going to go home happy. Listen to that roar, just for the attendance being read out and for the goal scorer's name being read out. Ao Tanaka. Still 1-0 to Atletico Madrid, still 3-0 to Villa, 2-2 Arsenal PSV. And the Leeds fans taunting the Millwall travelling support a little bit for their small numbers this evening. But it's a long way up from South Bermondsey to West Yorkshire on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, definitely. It's good following for a Wednesday night. It's a long way.
Portsmouth get a goal back against Plymouth. Adil Alshish gets the goal. He, of course, is on loan from Sunderland.
Just going back to that goal dance, how he steadied himself. You know, we're talking about the finishes before where they snatched it slightly or missed the far post. As that ball came, he just realised how that split second he got, and he just felt the ball across the goalkeeper into the far corner. That's
with the instep.
Yeah, that's a quality player.
Well, since his arrival from Fortuna Düsseldorf, he's made himself an instant favourite. Dan James trying to barrel his way through the centre of midfield now, but cleared away by Tanganga. Only as far as Firpo. Going to be another change for Leeds in a minute. I think we're going to see Larju Ramazzani for the last few minutes. We've got 2 minutes of normal time to go. James went down just at the edge of the area. Nothing doing, says the referee. Firpo plays the ball into the box, looking for Aronson. It's cleared away up to halfway. Coburn can't get a piece of it. Ramazzani waits on the halfway line. And it's chipped back for Joe Roden in the centre circle. Hull 2, Oxford 1. Leeds 2, Millwall 0 here. Portsmouth 1, Plymouth 2. And Plymouth are down to 10 as well at Fratton Park against Pompey. Matthew Sorinola's been sent off. Can Plymouth hang on for 3 precious points? Watford 1, Swansea 0, Stoke 1, Blackburn 0. Here's Dan James across the area looking for Peru. Headed away by Millwall at the back, but it comes out to Brendan Harrison at the edge of the D. Gets it on his right. It's blocked on its way to goal and drifts out to the left-hand side, where Imaku will get it back for Millwall, but the ball up to halfway is intercepted by Tanaka.
When they clear the ball, it's just coming straight back for Millwall. They just can't get enough bodies, green shirts up the pitch to support the front two. The midfield's been run ragged.
Matteo Joseph going to come on for Leeds as well as Ramazzani. Here's Byram down the right-hand side. Nonto now picks it up near the right-hand corner of the penalty area, gives it back to Byram. Can he play it across the face of goal? It drops for Peru. Tries to turn it across. It's saved by the legs of the keeper. Still inside the area. Millwall can't get it clear. Peru with his back to goal. Tries to tee up Aronson. Aronson drifts out towards the right-hand side. Byram calling for it. Nonto, though, has it. We're moving into 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time. Nonto tries an ambitious drive from the right-hand corner. It's blocked. Comes out and Tanaka puts it out of play for a Millwall throw, and the Leeds substitutions can be made.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Millwall now, almost like a boxer on the ropes. You know, they've took so many punches and stayed in the game for such a long time, but they look leg weary now. It's been an absolutely pummeling with the ball from Leeds.
Well, I think it's Dan James that's making way for Largi Ramazzani.
Yeah, he's been excellent, Dan James. He's a quality player.
Substitution for Leeds United, replacing number 7, Dan James.
Well, he's off and Ramazzani is on. I think it's Joe Peru that's making way for Joseph.
Yeah.
So like-for-like switches for Daniel Farker, who has been accused of a manager of not being proactive enough with his substitutions.
Yeah,
in games.
He always makes them really late as well, which is interesting. Probably frustrating for the lads that's on the bench, but I think it works in the theory of, look, if the lads are doing well, they've got the shirts, they keep them.
So those 2 changes are made, and Millwall have a throw, and we're edging towards stoppage. Well, with the second minute of stoppage time, there were 3 minutes added on by Dean Whitestone. Millwall trying to get away down the left-hand side. Connolly runs into Byram. Free kick given to Millwall. Running through to full-time elsewhere. Hull still leading Oxford 2-1. Plymouth still hanging on for a 2-1 win at Portsmouth, although they're down to 10. Watford still 1-0 upon Swansea. 10 minutes to go in the Pottery. Stoke 1, Blackburn 0. In the Champions League, still Arsenal 2, PSV 2 on the night, 9-3 in aggregate. Villa 3-0 upon 10-man Club Brugge, 6-1 up on aggregate Villa. They're going through. And Atletico Madrid still forcing extra time against Real Madrid as it stands. That's 1-0 on the night. Vinicius missing a penalty for Real Madrid in the second half. More live football tomorrow night across the Talksport network from the Europa League. Manchester United, Real Sociedad on Talksport. Spurs against RZ here on Talksport 2. Plus Premier League darts on the Talksport Darts YouTube channel from around 7:10 for night sits in Nottingham. Leeds playing out time here. We've got 30 seconds of added time to go. Here's Tanaka, who scored the decisive second, looking for Nonto with a crossfield ball that's just hit too high over the head of the diminutive Nonto, and Millwall have a throw.
Yeah, just looking at the game in the entirety, they have been value Leeds. I've really admired the way that they stuck at it though, Millwall. You know, they've not wilted at all.
Here is Aronson making a strong run down the left-hand side. Ramazzani and Joseph moving into the box. Nonto now has it. Rolls it calmly in field to Firpo. And there goes the full-time whistle. And Leeds are back on top of the Championship. 2 points clear of Sheffield United. They wanted to show a reaction to what happened at Fratton Park on Sunday lunchtime when Portsmouth got the better of them, and it only took them 3 minutes to get their noses in front against Millwall through Jake Cooper's unlucky own goal, Solomon's cross from the dead ball line that Cooper turned into his own net. But Leeds fans had to wait an awful long time for the points to be wrapped up. But it was Ao Tanaka, the Japanese, with a cultured finish from the edge of the area late on that sealed all 3 points. And they are marching on together back to the summit of the championship with 9 games to play. Leeds 2, Millwall 0. Neil Redfern.
Yeah, it's a great response from the disappointment of the Portsmouth game. You know, they had the vast majority of the possession. They played some lovely football, Leeds. You know, Millwall battled gamely, but it was just too much for them to hang on. And in the end, the final goal from Tanaka, who for me was the man of the match, was absolutely stupendous. Superb strike straight into the top corner.
And Leeds' next game will be live on Talksport Saturday lunchtime at Loftus Road as they take on QPR. Then they've got Swansea here at Ellen Road after the international break. Luton away, Luton fighting for their lives. A trip up to Teesside to play Middlesbrough, and then Preston at home. All winnable games definitely for Daniel Farker and Leeds United. And they're throwing down the gauntlet once again to Sheffield United and Burnley beneath them.
Yeah, definitely. I think this was a convincing performance tonight. You know, as much as Millwall huffed and puffed, thought Leeds would thoroughly deserve the win.
And Millwall will go back to South London knowing that I think effectively any lingering hopes of a playoff challenge have now gone.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, they're going to need sides to lose games, and they're going to have to go on an unbelievable run now to get into the playoffs. But, you know, I think he's made a big difference, Alex Neil. You know, he's made them far more resilient. And they did offer something, you know, initially in the first half, early on in the game, but...
Well, the Leeds players are just doing their lap of honour as another one bites the dust. Plays out through the PA system to denote the fact they've got rid of another tricky opponent and kept this terrific home form going. Hull have beaten Oxford 2-1. They had a man sent off late on as well, Hull, but they've hung on for 3 very important points. Still playing at Fratton Park, Portsmouth 1, Plymouth 2. Watford are still beating Swansea by a goal to 0. Still not full time at Vicarage Road there. And they've still got about 5 minutes of normal time to play at the Bet365, where Stoke are a goal up against Blackburn. Arsenal 2, PSV 2 still playing. Villa 3-0 up on 10-man Club Brugge. And Atletico still 1 up on Real Madrid and heading for extra time at the Wanda Metropolitano. But the position at the top of the championship table with 9 games to play is like this. Leeds on 79 points, Sheffield United on 77 and Burnley on 75. And now they're back on top. There's no way they're going to want to surrender it and have a fall off like they did last season around this time. Neil Redfern, finally.
No, and I think what they've got to do is they've got to try and put that momentum back together again. I mean, they've shown tonight, they've dominated the ball. And they've played some lovely football. They got in front of goal quite a bit. You know, and quite ruthless really with some of the finishing. So it's a good performance from Leeds, thoroughly good performance.
Well, you'll be hearing from the headline makers down in the tunnel. Daniel Farker and Alex Neil will be speaking to us. You'll hear that reaction over on the sports bar after 10 o'clock with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy on Talksport, reacting to all of tonight's action domestically and in Europe. Leeds back in action on Talksport, as I mentioned, Saturday lunchtime at QPR. Up next here on Talksport 2, Fight Night Extra with Adeola Depot and Gareth A. Davis, talking all the latest boxing action. My thanks to Neil Redfern once again has been with me tonight.
Yeah, great. I've enjoyed the 2 games we've covered, mate. They're excellent games.
Well, Sheffield United conceded a late goal to surrender points to Bristol City, but Leeds United in no mood to surrender anything tonight. An own goal and a late strike from Tanaka settled it. So Leeds go top by 2 points with a final score here at Ellen Road. Leeds United 2, Millwall 0.